of pain. Vi sörger. Cold and empty, lifeless remains. Vi sörger. Fields of the fallen and blood washed in rain. This cannot be all that will be. So you have torn this world apart. You came for our suffering. So we'll bleed, cut us deep. fire. You will be our silent eye. Come seek us out. We will be there to give them reckoning. Oh, you shall wait at the city gates. You shall guide their way. You shall hear their coming steps. Feel our malice. For every soul they took away. Don't fear what you don't know, 'cause we're far from certain fate. And we'll make our final stand. Lost in the dark, we've come so far. Another step to rid the pain. Go and be counted till your last day, 'cause only nightmares break their flames. So stand upon these fallen lands. Reaching on the other side, we're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timers, our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory, so we still remain. We'll keep closing. And we still remain. Yeah! Fellow armsmen, I ask you, will you follow me tonight to break their spine and reclaim what once was mine? Those cravens backstabbed me, deceived me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Oh, 7,000 souls scared and daunted, such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Oh, 15 million souls living in this realm without much hope. Not too long ago, this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. There's way more to avenge. Whoa! 50 million souls live in this realm without much hope. Not too long ago, this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Yeah! Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Call down the reckoning, bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer.
变化永远指引着两条路，向后一步是固步自封，泯然众人；向前一步是君子豹变，奇文未也。战场与对手在变，登峰与涅槃成为了悬于所有队伍头顶的利剑。迈向登峰，鏖战远远没有结束；跌入涅槃，更要经受锤炼之苦。即使是晨光熹微，也要踏上自己坚信的骑士之路。命运与心境在变，有人改换门庭，为的是在既定的轨道里改写故事；有人破釜沉舟，求的是在别人的剧本里成为变量；有人一路坦途，天赋异禀，惊艳世人，要的是境随心转，不变应万变。起点与终点在变，拼命追赶奔赴的远方，可能是猎场；整装待发的起点，可能是别人的梦想。季后赛只是新的起跑线，发令枪响，尘埃未定，莫问归途。
Welcome back, everyone, to LPL Summer Playoffs 2024. The race for the Silver Dragon Cup continues. As I am Mazel, I'm joined by Trouble, and my goodness, do we have a tense best of 5 in front of us. We are in the Guardian Angel stage, but it doesn't mean the pressure is not on.
Top 4 playoffs for the LPL. First series has already delivered. We are into top esports versus LNG. This is crazy. This is the first time we're actually going to see LNG in a best of series in playoffs, and we don't even know what they have to offer yet.
They do have to offer the stadium, though, as they're here to defend the homeland, which is incredible to see. Finally, we get them in their home arena in Suzhou, but it should be a lot of fun. As we take a look at the path thus far, you might say, didn't you guys just start playoffs like a week ago? Yeah, we did. Wow. It's literally back to back to back to back to back, and we've had bangers all along. Last night, our first 3-0 of the playoffs.
And of course, it comes from no other team other than BLG, beating Weibo in a very clean manner, I want to say. Of course, when you have so much time to be a little bit further in the playoffs and to actually see and study the teams that you're about to play, it's a little bit easier for you to devise a tactic. However, I feel like BLG, we're just clean cut right there. They were just clearly the better team. They pushed Weibo Gaming, of course, to that lower bracket, and they're going to be expecting their opponent, which is going to be whoever loses today between LNG and Top Esports.
That 3-0, a little bit deceiving. If you did not watch that game 3, it is one of all time. Go watch it.
Oh, it was very
incredible game. What a series. Even though 3-0 maybe seems like it's not. But let's go ahead and focus on this series out in front of us. It's a best of 5 to decide who joins BLG or who goes down into that lower bracket. And first and foremost, we have to talk about the first entrance into these playoffs for LNG, a team that knows Top Esports very well, but I'm very interested at what is going to excel. Gala obviously claiming the All-Pro team nomination, but it really has been about him and Scout finding the carries and finding the wins for LNG.
And I feel like in particular, Scout has played a huge role in this team, especially the resurgence, seeing Scout at his best yet again. I feel like he's had one of the best performances, when it comes to mid laners in summer in the LPL. Particularly his Yone in a meta where every AD carry is being played mid. For your most played champion, I know it started with Corki, but for your most played champion to be Yone, it shows a lot of confidence, not just in himself particularly, but in the way that the team likes to play through side lane, through engaging in that late game, deeping into fights, having the big turnarounds, and Scout has provided just that for LNG.
That's the curious part, is they do like to play too early game to some extent, but as soon as they get those leads, they try to delve it out into the side lane, get Scout there, and try to take advantage so they can get into the late game team fighting potential where they are so strong. But we have seen in the worst of times for LNG. There haven't been many, but it is the side lane that gets taken advantage of, and then things start falling apart for them. And on the other side for Top Esports, we've already seen them here in the playoffs so far, and my goodness, did they look dominant. They're going to try to take advantage of the pace of play in the game.
I just want to put one word above Top Esports just so people understand. The word for me for Top Esports is confidence. These guys look like they're brimming with confidence. They see champion, they kill champion. However, it's not just a bloodthirsty game that Top Esports is playing. They never lose sight of tempo. They never lose sight of the objective in hand. They always manage to translate every single kill that happens on the Rift. And this is why I feel like they are probably the most dangerous team on the Rift so far that I've seen in the LPL. And you mentioned the side laning. You mentioned a few whoopsies. LNG are going to have to be very careful about those going up against Top Esports.
And I would say the few whoopsies we've seen from Top Esports, where towards the end of the Rumble stage, I don't know if there were many whoopsies there as a 6-win streak had come through for them, but it is maybe losing some of that control of the map. Having TN not in a place where he can play towards Cream, play towards Jackie Love, and really find those avenues forward. And that's where, you know, I think we have a couple sayings coming in today that we talked about. It's mid lane, that's the most influential role. That's the most important setup. That's the most important matchup in this match. But all the eyes, all the spotlights, it's all on bot lane. It's all on Gala versus Jackie Love. And as we take a look at how these teams win games, yes, a lot of the stats definitely leaning in favor of Top Esports, but that is just because of the way they play their game.
Absolutely, and you see that all the at 15 stats for Top Esports are incredibly positive right there. Their first tower, their lead, making sure that they do take these objectives, they will play aggressive. However, I do want to hone down just a little bit onto that bot lane that you did mention, because if you guys remember the best of 5 that was just played between the two teams, there were 2. But if you just remember the more recent one, Gala and Hang were level 1, while Jackie Love and Mako were level 4 down that bot lane. And they managed to turn this around. We're talking about big caliber players. I feel like Gala coming into this, he's had some legendary Kai'Sa performance as well. Jackie Love has a world skin onto this Kai'Sa, so it's definitely going to be spicy.
It should be a lot of fun. And again, it's going to be a transition of power throughout the game, throughout the series itself. But that's where we can start focusing in on what we expect from these two teams. We already talked a little bit about the focus for LNG and really Scout and Gala being those key tickets. On Top Esports' side, it's a little bit more introspective. I think we've seen everybody on that team have their day, have incredible moments, but I think the elephant in the room is that Tien was MVP of the regular season. He has been just on another level, and it enables these incredibly massive splits from the carries around him like Cream and Jackie Love.
It feels like Tien is like everyone's little brother when it comes to the LPL. I've not necessarily heard anything bad about Tien at all, and he's a world champion, but he has struggled on the Rift over and over again. And it was even in spring where he was crying on an interview and saying, you know what, I struggle with confidence, and it's not always been easy getting on the Rift under the pressure, especially at internationals, at really high stakes games, at finals in the LPL, and performing, being able to output that confidence that he feels onto the Rift. It's not been easy for him, and 369 was with him that day and said, you know what, we'll make you the greatest jungler in the LPL again. Wasn't quite the case over in spring, but here in summer, it seems like Tien has had a resurgence, and definitely his confidence is brimming on the Rift.
There's so many great storylines, and I'm just glad that we don't have to eliminate any of those storylines so far. Obviously, getting into the double elimination port of LPL does breathe a sigh of relief to some extent to a lot of the teams, but there is no letting up now. And the thing also is, we've seen, at least so far in these playoffs, that getting to watch a lot of tape, getting at least a little bit of tape helps a lot, and I expect LNG to have some preparation coming into this series.
I mean, what preparation do you even have coming into this series? And how top
Stop
esports
TN from getting ahead.
Okay, well, that is step number 1. Step number 2 is, okay, how is Tien getting ahead? Oh, it's because his laners are so freaking strong that they allow him the prior. They allow him to play more aggressive because they're always behind him. So it's not about shutting down Tien. You gotta shut down Cream. You gotta shut down Mako. You gotta shut down 369. You can just let Jackie Love do his own thing down the bot lane, but you've got 3 other monsters you gotta deal with. However, LNG have showed before that they have been able to do this. Again, these two teams are Group C teams. They've met twice already in that scenario. Top Esports took everything from them over in Group C. However, in Group Ascent...
They took the only game that Top Esports lost in that in the placement stage. There's something.
Yeah.
And then they went on to win in the Rumble stage. So not too bad. LNG, though, in their home arena, hoping to use some of that momentum. And maybe try to take hold of their own run here as it starts. And I think we also have seen in the history that, you know, a late start can be beneficial, but also maybe a detriment. People aren't as warmed up. And Top Esports, they definitely warmed up a lot. But I love that we get I love that we get this kind of continuation of the story between these two. And Top Esports has a chance to redeem themselves from that Rumble stage.
I want to remind everyone right here, Top Esports are coming off a 7-series win streak. They came back from an international, lost to BLG in Group Ascend, lost to LNG in Group Ascend, and they have not let go of a single series after these 2 series losses. 7 win streak for Top Esports. And we keep talking about them in terms of they need to show their prowess when it comes to these international tournaments. Winning the LPL is one thing, but I feel like behind the team, there is this international success that they're craving for so freaking long. And coming into summer, you definitely have in your sights not only just the LPL Cup, but behind it, you can see in the horizon also the internationals, worlds coming up. And Top Esports are definitely a very well-oiled machine going up towards that goal.
Eyes on the Silver Dragon Cup for now as the race forward here. As you also talked a little bit about the history in that Group Ascend stage for LNG, for Top Esports. The thing about LNG, and you talked so much about the win streak for Top Esports, it wasn't the same for LNG in that regard, but they did beat all the top teams. I mean, they did unfortunately lose to, you know, FPX. It was their only series loss, and it was a 2-0. It was rough. Yeah. And it was in the middle. You know, it's like a little bit of the meat in the sandwich. But it wasn't LNG, who were also dominant in that group stage. So I'm really looking forward to see what version of them we get. They did go all 3 games in the last 3 series in their final week of play in that Rumble stage. So getting all the practice in you possibly can. They're going to need it against this well-oiled machine, as you say.
I feel like for LNG, losing to FPX in that 2-0 fashion, you could very easily say that it was obviously an off day when you beat teams like Top Esports, teams like BLG, the top of the top of the LPL. Things happen, you know, it just ruined their win streak because it was just in the middle of every other win series that they've done so far. But coming into this series again, I would really love to drop a spotlight on that mid lane. I would love to drop a spotlight onto Scout because he has had an incredible split so far. And it just dawned on me while I was speaking about Yone. Usually when you talk about Scout, you think of Azir. Yone seems like an AD Azir to me. The way his abilities work, the way he's allowed to play through the side lane, the way that he has so much consistent AD damage. Azir has AP through that late game. This guy has literally found himself the AD Azir, and he has adopted the same playstyle that he does on both champions in terms of pressure in the early, being able to shove out his wave into side lane pressure later on, into great transition onto team fights.
Though I will say, Scout a lot. I think he deserves it in a lot of regards. He was a major part to the reason why LNG weren't finding success in the early parts of the season, in the summer split at least. So I want to see that continuation of form that we've seen from him from the Ascendance group, but maybe not the placement group here. But we're getting close at least, and that's where you can maybe take a little bit of time to focus on the other side of that matchup. Cream, who has taken so much of the weight on his shoulders for this Top Esports team to enable TN to be that backdrop, to be that pressure-filled moment in the mid lane. It's been really nice to see. If you're only coming back to watching Cream after those international performances, you're going to see a completely different beast here.
And a reminder here, you are playing around so many veterans, so many titles around you here, Cream. And sure, he's not necessarily a rookie, but he's newer compared to all the people that he's surrounded with in Top Esports. And he's had an incredible split. I feel like every single time we talk about Cream, we talk about his ability to adapt to every single meta. Whether he came from an assassin background, jumping straight into mages, onto Spring and performing, like his way is one of his best win rate champions to this date. and that was a mage. And now, of course, adapting onto that AD carry meta in the mid lane, having all the power in his hands. This is why we say always that mid lane is so important. You've got an over-level, itemized AD carry much earlier than any bot laner would most likely have. That's why there's so much power in the middle.
It's the most influential part of the map this time around, but we can finally get to what everybody's been waiting for. I know we're chomping at the bit. It's Gala versus Jackie Love. All eyes on this matchup. It's going to be a lot about the 2v2, but then also about the team fight potential there. And there might be some question marks. You know, Jackie Love, I feel like, is having one of the best splits of his entire career, much alike to the rest of top esports who have some serious veterancy, but oh my god, it is the golden years apparently. But it's also a situation where Gala was the one that got first team all-pro. Gala is the one that is finding those team fight promised lands, and it's going to be a lot about the gunslingers in the bot lane if they can at least keep a little bit of pressure in their own right.
And I'm thinking of lane dominance. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of lane dominance down the bot lane is that misfortune. Top esports have showed over and over again how much they value being able to take that misfortune down the bot lane. Of course, when things like Ashe and stuff are banned. And we're going to get to see exactly what's going to happen as we jump into the first picks and bans of LNG versus Top Esports.
First time we're seeing LNG, and the first time they get to represent in their home arena. On the blue side, LNG going to ban away the Misfortune, the Leona, and the Lilia. We already have on the red side, Top Esports banning away the Rumble, the Renekton, and the Ziggs. We have the Lucian first pick for LNG, and keeping that prio mid important.
Wow, I'm so surprised actually. Ashe being left open right here. However, LNG are prioritizing Scout on a strong champion. Now, hear me out. I feel like Zeri does very, very well into Lucian over in the mid lane, and Grim has had some great performances on the Zeri. I feel like Zeri, in general, has seen a very good resurgence in terms of win rate in the LPL. Very strong champion, great scaling into that late game, and does very well into the Lucian matchup, as we previously mentioned in that mid lane. Oh,
okay, yeah, gonna go with the Ivern, and something he's been very willing to dip into here this split, which I find so interesting because you literally get the friend of the forest, all this nice guy, and then you look at other games for Tien, and he's literally like strangle holding the jungle at level 3 and not letting them get up. We'll see which version of that we get tonight, I guess, of this Ivern for Tien, but it is the answer of a little bit of plant-like in their own right for LNG as we get Zyra and the Jhin locked in.
There's so much range from both sides. Long range engage from Ashe. You've got Ivern, who usually just likes to throw shields, pop Daisy out. And then on the side of LNG, you have so many space creators with the Zyra, with the Jhin. I'd love to see a little bit more proactivity in terms of engaging. However, supports on both sides have been left for the 4 and 5, so I'm expecting to see a few bans targeted towards the both side of the map.
And I'm not going to lie, they just gave a little bit of an opening to Cream on his Tristana here.
All right, hear me out,
and you know,
the streak has been broken.
It has. I personally don't care. I still think the man is still a devil on that pick. We'll see if he does have a little bit of that push of it. That also, though, goes back to the conversation we're having, where mid is going to be so important. Both these guys are going to be fighting so heavily for lane prio to get influenced on the map as well. We are in the second phase already, though. It is the Gnar top lane focus for Top Esports. It's already the Braum banned away by LNG.
Yeah, such an important ban right here, the Braum. You see how LNG, they're going to be looking for some avenues. They've got the setup with the Zyra and the Jhin, of course, but you need some avenues to engage onto Top Esports, get into the squishy targets, eliminate Ashe or Tristana. And Braum is a fantastic pick together with Ashe, because usually we see the engage coming through from the support, but Ashe has a pretty good tool with her ultimate to engage fights herself. So picking up something like a Braum is a great shutdown to any melee jumping down the bot lane, but also pairs up really nicely with the sort of peeling composition that they want to create with the Ivern coming through from Top Esports. And now with the Rel ban as well, I'm wondering, Alistar is kind of like the only ones remaining together with Rakan, but Alistar matches much better with the Ashe.
Also just gives you heckin' wombo combo there if you want to layer some of that on top of it. So much CC available for Top Esports, and that's going to be rough to deal with some of the at least short range that Scout's going to be dealing with on the Lucian. LNG, though, they were hyper-focusing some of those engagers, really knowing that that's where Top Esports needed to go to in this second phase. They themselves, though, they're going to go ahead and grab, I guess, just a classic at this point in the Cassante for Zika on the top side.
Wondering what they've got cooking down the bot lane. A lot of the engage, again, supports have been taken out.
Classic.
He's going...
No wild
Okay,
stuff here.
hear
No
me-
spice.
hear me
It's
out.
vanilla.
Hear me out. It scares me, man. We have not seen Nautilus in a very long time, and you're literally hooking head first into basically a rock. You've got the Daisy there, you've got the Alistar there, and not a lot of follow-up coming through from LG. There's a lot of setup, but there's not a lot of follow-up from LNG. And if 369 chooses to lock that one in, which he will, it's a 369 special. He brought it out earlier on in the year as a counter to Skarner, but then very quickly teams realized that Mordekaiser is really good versus any tank, and if you manage to isolate the threat of such a huge frontliner such as Cassante or any other tank from a team fight, then Top Esports or the rest remaining members of Top Esports were more than happy with that.
Oh, absolutely. And love the confidence being played to by 369 here. You imagine some of these team fights going down. He yoinks somebody important out, and these damagers for Top Esports can immediately focus down the important targets. That is going to be the big focus, though. Top Esports need to get that single target damage down, and especially have that CC chain to enable Cream to get the resets.
I feel like Top Esports right here will be looking from a distance. Mako has been an absolute menace on the Alistar. However, it is going to be up to Jakilov the second he hits that level 6 on the Ashe. We've seen it over and over again. He will be trying to find the arrows from the other side of the map. So very importantly, looking at mid, Scout needs to be aware of that level 6 Ashe and where the arrows are coming from. Mid lane is one of the most important matchups in this particular series, in these best of 5 for both teams. Scout, Cream, so important to stay alive and scale into that late game.
I am like a child on Christmas. The fact that this mid lane matchup has become so important, the fact that Cream has risen his stature to match Scout in this one. Two legends in their own right in different stories. That story is going to continue to be written tonight. Game 1 of this best of 5 in this Guardian Angel round of the LPL Summer Playoffs kicks off now. It's LNG versus Top Esports, and we're getting into the thick of it now. Love to hear the crowd getting into it already. Obviously packed to the brim with all these names that we have in here. And that's what I find interesting in the dueling stories between these two. People know Top Esports' recent history, right? They have been on the international stage. They've been a face of the LPL here recently. But I wouldn't say they haven't grown in their own right. I mean, even in this split, we've seen utter domination from them in a lot of cases. LNG, they might not be as known, but my goodness, once they got to that Ascend group, once they were able to find the legs under themselves and find that early side laning pressure they could get through Scout, it has looked like a different team, and they've been deadly their own right.
Yeah, I feel like for LNG, it's been a little bit more recent, right? Getting second place last year, summer 2023, of course. Second to JDG. And just a quick reminder right here, it was 369 that took them down in the finals. He was playing for JDG last year. So there is a little bit of a revenge kind of look towards 369 here from LNG. But yeah, it was quarterfinals for Worlds. It was second place for LPL. Very recent success for LNG. And they're looking to continue with a very, very dominant split right here, of course. LNG, again, they might not have necessarily a streak, but they only lost to a singular team in their group Ascend, and that was FPX.
And both teams trying to use some of the momentum themselves. I love that you highlight that for LNG. And then also that we talked so much about the 7 series win streak for Top Esports. That is not shabby to do, especially when you think a lot of those wins came in the group with all the top teams in the LPL in it. But let's check in on the map states right now. We'll see the opposite sides for the junglers, but it's more so how quickly we get that influence in mid lane as Scout was trying to press Cream as well.
I don't know about the influence in the mid lane, the influence of the people, 70-something%. Looking at the Top Esports win right here. I mean, of course, right? They're coming off of an incredible series win streak, as you mentioned as well, we previously said. However, it's the way they have come through. And it has been through very, very dominant skirmishing, translating that into neutral objectives, which they tend to come back to right after it. So it's definitely the vision that they set up so that TN can walk back into certain territory. As we're talking about certain territory, Wei is looking a little bit at enemy territory. She's waiting for the Scuttle Crab to spawn down the bot lane. And it's so hilarious that Zyra clears so much earlier than the Scuttle Crab actually spawns, that you have so much free time to just walk around.
Why not, I guess? All the avenues you could ask for. Tien's Ivern 4-0. I still remember when he brought this out earlier in the split, and we were questioning. We're like, really, Tien? Really? And that first game was dirty. And ever since, I don't think he's looked back. It's something they go to. It's something a little bit different. And it's been really nice to see them utilize that with these kind of double marksman compositions we've seen run rampant.
You're talking about that first game. I'm going to talk about his last game, which was also dirty and also gave him an MVP onto this Ivan. I feel like he utilizes the champion so well, and it just fits the team so much, right? It's a facilitating kind of champion, and when you have such huge carries on your team, literally in every single lane, top esports can carry from, having a champion like Ivern changes a lot of the way you take the skirmishes. Talking about,
you have so much dueling strength with the Jhin Nautilus combo. The CC chains you can have are big. And you see the damage centered on Mako. We get the 1v1 in topside. Zika, he is going to Wei as 369. He does not have level 6. He cannot make this a 1v1. Not going to hit by the knockback there. Wei going to try to get the distance here. He does get the flash out early. Can't end up following through. Though, oh, nice little sidestep there from Scout. Does get away from the roots. And that is a couple plays from both teams being tried early.
crisis averted from both sides. Scout under attack from Tien down the mid lane. However, only one flash was blown on the side of LNG, and that was Scout's. Top esports flash list on the top side of their map. Tien and 369 had to flash offensively and defensively in both sides of the map. However, again, I feel like for top esports, it's all about stabilizing the map when you've got something like an Ivern in your team composition. You've got great scaling with the Tristana, with the Mordekaiser up the top of the map. It's great to make plays early on and try to shut down Scout, and I feel definitely having a flashless Lucian is not going to be as easy to play. A lot more aggressive towards Cream. Oh. Gets his back reset. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually pretty huge.
He's going to stay now.
Because the next thing you have to think about is, what does this prio mean for the early objectives? I mean, Dragon is a little bit gone by the wayside so far early, but you cannot expect the Grubs to be the same. Though right now, a little bit of pathing does mean it's going to take a little bit for both junglers to get around that way. And Tien is showing, at least on TS's side of things, in mid lane.
And that's exactly what happened, because his back got reset from Hang right there. Cream stays in lane. However, he is down a few mana points. He's down a few hit points. He also doesn't have as many items as Scout does. And now on the flank right there, Tien is behind, but he's too far behind them.
Hung gonna go for the initial engage here, waiting for that headbutt to come through. Mako gonna flash though, and my goodness, they're still gonna go for it. Look at the CC chain on a Mako. Fourth shot not gonna be just enough. Scout comes over with the calling deadly flourish. They can't get him. He's in the brush. They had no vision. Tien making it out like a bandit tree. He is. LNG gonna get the flash out of Jackie Love early as well.
That is double flash for the bot lane of top esports, and the ignite burned, and they almost lose 2 members. The beginning of that gank was played flawlessly to defend from the side of top esports, but LNG absolutely ruthless, trying to shut down that bot lane. And right now, Ashe with no flash up gets very, very dangerous to walk up at any certain time. So that means that LNG will be having their sights for sure on those neutral objectives coming up.
Cream will see Wei and Hung crossing across mid lane. They did end up getting one plate over to Cream as well, and Tien is back onto the map. Maybe they'll look to contest these Grubs.
They've already rotated Hang towards the top side. However, Hang does not have much in his mana pool. He needs to reset, go back, grab some control woods as well if they want to contest towards the top side of the map. Now, there is a problem on the top side of the map for LNG, and that's the Mordekaiser. Level 7, and it's of pivotal importance that you do have your Cassante in those fights to come. So playing around Mordekaiser is never an easy task, especially after he has his ultimate available. He will be taking one of your teammates away in those team fights. So LNG are going to be extra cautious right here. Top Esports are going to take full control of the top side of the map with TN and 369 walking down. And most likely LNG will be looking to play towards that Dragon down bot lane, which, as we mentioned, both the bot lanes from Top Esports do not have their flashes available.
That's something to revisit for sure. And that's where this game right now is a little bit interesting for Top Esports. It's the TN Ivern that we know, obviously, but it's something where they're not as proactive, and you're seeing Weiwei get ahead and farm a little bit. They did end up getting the grubs for Top Esports, so that's really nice. But Zyra is always going to be a pain around these objectives, and I think you have to start looking at how teams enter some of these contested objectives, especially when we get to those 5-on-5.
Yeah, I feel like right here, Top Esports have to actually FF this particular neutral objective. As you can see, LNG, especially since Jackilov had to wait all the way underneath his tower, right?
Yeah.
Gala shoves in 2 waves. Jackilov has to respond to them. He has to be also very respectful of a potential wraparound. He will see Hung right here behind him, but he does have Mako getting towards that bottom of the map. However, again, as we mentioned, LNG will most likely have the upper... I'm trying to find the word. Upper hand.
There you
Oh
go.
my
I got
God.
you. I got you.
The
See,
upper
teamwork.
hand.
I would high-five you if I could right now. I just almost
Holy
high-fived my
dude. Okay.
camera.
You know what? LNG get the dragon, and that's all that matters. No
That
hands.
is all that matters. No hands.
Hands don't matter.
No
Upper
hands
lower.
diff right now. We'll
hands
see. Somebody's about to get hands dipped in this series. I absolutely know it's coming. I do want to center a little bit on this play that could be actually happening on bot side. They
no.
do
No
get the
flash.
deadly flourish as well. Jackie loves it. A lot of trouble. He gets the shielding, though, from Tien. He will still go down in the end of Gala as we finally have blood on the rift here. Now Kareem is coming in for his own resets. Goes back in and gets that as Hung is down. Now Kareem gets one back for them. It's an open up time as now Tien, he's dodging out. Needs to dodge one more, though. 4th shot coming through. It's going to be hit by Kareem as Tien makes it out alive again. And that's twice now in this early game that Tien makes it out with sub 200 health.
And look at Scout in the mid lane. While all this is going on, sure, it's a trade 1-for-1, but Scout gets so much through that mid lane that he manages to equalize the gold that Cream just got through that 1 kill down the bot side of the map. Jackilov is going to rotate towards that mid lane to catch that wave. And let's watch this one more time, because I've been praising Jackilov for being so respectful, not having flash or any mobile AD carry such as the Ashe. And right here gets caught. Weiwei is behind Hung. They're waiting for that hook to come through, and when it does, they absolutely demolish a flashless Ashe. However, Cream had the push on the mid lane. He did start that next wave and managed to get down there to trade the 1-for-1. Seeing Kareem walk out here, he's like, peace, you got to fend off for yourself. But then he takes the last jump to hit the 4th shot to save Tien right there. It's a 1-for-1 overall, but Scout did so much damage on that mid lane tower.
Yeah, getting a little bit of plates back. You see the even state of that mid lane matchup there. Something to think about now, though, is you are going to be getting to first items. Speaking of, we already have Weiwei on his Leandries. They have a lot of strength around these next contests, and the grubs are going to be coming up in about a minute. That would be grub again for Top Esports. LNG do not want to give that over to a Tristana comp.
It's gonna start getting a little bit dangerous though, because as you can see over on Weiwei, Leandris has already been completed onto this Zyra. You mentioned earlier how strong Zyra is in terms of those neutral objectives and how she protects the choke points. So once LNG get there first, get to set up their vision and invite Top Esports to come into those neutral objectives, all those plans are going to hurt tremendously much, since that Zyra is pretty much the only one with such a gold lead to be able to complete that first item.
It's those item spikes are going to need to be capitalized on, and I specifically look at some of the AD first itemizations as well to be looked at. They're going to keep pressure, though, for LNG on bot side. They just have an advantage for now as well. For Gala on the Jhin over the Ashe has the Swifties, so no slowing for him, which is going to be very, very nice. But the thing is, LNG have fully committed to this side. They're going to get the reset for Weiwei. Actually, he's going to stop because he realizes they are way behind the top side play. Top Esports going to take grub again here, and that's massive.
They're most likely looking to dive here, but there is no particular wave. The
It
roots?
doesn't matter if you hit every CC chain you possibly can. Still, though, the unbreakable will not be broken against Mako.
That's a win for Top Esports. You mentioned how 6 Void Grubs going over to Top Esports with Tristana potentially on the side lane, and a Mordekaiser is going to be so difficult for LNG to deal with. Top Esports are going to use their defense down the bot lane. Yes, they're going to lose a bunch of gold and a bunch of experience onto that tower down the bot lane, but they do stay alive. They keep their summoner spells, and 6 Void Grubs have been taken over by Top Esports. Now, we're looking to see how they're going to capitalize on that, right? Because when you ditch one side and you play towards the other, we need to see it really come to fruition. And it's already started. Cream towards the top side of the map, looking to play versus that Cassante for the time being. See if you can get some hits on the tower.
And it's so funny because we're starting to crest into the mid game here. LNG typically like to try to use some of the early advantages that they got to move into those side lanes and propel their advantages forward. But it's Top Esports that are looking to do that now, especially because they got the grubs and they can just have Cream take down any of these plates, at least try to get some more before the plates do drop. And this is Top Esports, who now are in a confident position, who excel when they play with confidence, and they will from now on, I'm sure, contest every objective possible.
And the safe thing about Top Esports having Cream on a side lane is not only that he has the 6 grubs, he has his teleport to join in the fights, but also you get to put Jakilov over in the mid lane. Ashe, again, kind of short-ranged as an AD carry, as the TPs are going to be pulled towards the bot side.
Uh-oh, Scout, you find yourself in the death realm, although LNG coming to collapse in full. Cream is like, bro, I need you to come out of the death realm there. I don't know what you're doing, Top Esports, but it ain't looking pretty. As 369 and Cream just die.
Wait, hold on. That was perfect. Cream was all the way to the top side of the map. He was pressuring down. Cassante was nowhere in sight. So he was able to bully Cassante, take the first tower plate, and everything was going smoothly. And then you have 369 pressuring down bot, but they overforce the matter. Both the flashes are down, TP's down from Cream, 2 lives down. The tower has taken a lot of chip damage from Zika. A great win right here from LNG. They're going to drop the Dragon, of course, with the resets coming through from LNG. But that's the least of a price they have to pay. Scout here, get stuck?
That's bold, man. He dashed forward into that.
I just feel like Top Esports don't necessarily respect how fast LNG can rotate around the map and actually capitalize on the aggression of Top Esports. But this is exactly what we're expecting, right? When we said that they've been brimming with confidence, they see champion, they kill champion. That's exactly what we've been saying. And if you are slow to react, you're going to fall as their victim. However, LNG right here have had the perfect responses. They're anticipating all these TPs and aggressive plays, and they're responding equally.
I'm still wondering how Scout just mind controlled Top Esports there. Zika will be getting a little bit of the ire here.
You know?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, that's all you have to do. As now we're going to see LNG go right back to the bread and butter. Move Scout to side lane, take a turret there, get some of that standing gold in LNG. They are consistently keeping this lead above water. As Curtain Call is going to be popped on Jakilov, he has to fat flash over the wall there. Going to get the 4th shot. Not actually going to hit in the end. Rift Herald did get spawned in mid lane, though. They need to crash down on Top Esports here as they are pressuring bot lane tier 2, and now they're being collapsed on. Although Tien and Mako are significant beasts in the way of them and Cream. Daisy will also come out to join and take the dredge line from Hung.
And LNG again, so quick thinking of the map. They pop down the Rift Herald in the mid lane. They take Jakilov's flash. Again, it has been such a problem to take flash off of that Ashe. Jakilov, a player who really likes to play aggressive, really likes to play on the limits. Now, flashless on that champion is very difficult to play against such very long-range champions with the anchor coming through, the W from the Jhin. If you get caught into one of those, the curtain call slows as well. It's going to be very difficult for Jakilov. We saw it right there. He had to pull his flash in that regard, and even though it was a bot lane tier 1 that LNG ended up dropping, taking that mid lane tier 1 is so important, because that's the reason why the whole shift happened for Top Esports, to have Jakilov in that mid lane, the safest lane, the tier 1. Now that tier 1 is down, it becomes difficult for Ashe to walk forward.
Still going to be a prominent setup tool for Top Esports. I'm looking for those Enchanted Crystal Arrows. We really haven't seen a big influence of that, though, so far.
Just look at this. He cannot walk forward. He has to stick back to his tier 2. LNG grouped up as 3 as a unit. And again, it's exactly what you said. We have not necessarily seen Jakilov impact the map, and that's because they have shut him down over and over again. No flash on this champion. You gotta be extremely respectful, and especially when your support is playing around that mid lane, being on a flashless Ashe makes it so difficult for you to just walk up and make plays.
Looking for the big saving grace of either finding a big arrow into Gala and Scout and then picking them off here. Mako going to stop any of this vision nonsense that LNG are trying to put down in their own jungle. It's going to be a 2v1 Mako. I think you're got a little bit, get a little out of there, I feel. Maybe as Jakilo comes over, they feel a little bit more confident. But look at this vision oppression by LNG in this topside jungle of Top Esports.
Top Esports have been choked back into their own base almost, yeah, and barely finding any camps on the bot side of the map to play through. And again, the fact that Jakilov has not been able to have that effect on the map with the arrows, with the Ashe, however, LNG...
Oh, there's the Wombo combo from hell. All those knockups, you think it's a bouncy house here. Although the Death Realm has been popped, 369 trying to claim one back. Is going to end up smashing down with the Obliterate on the Hung, though the damage profile is still on him. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, actually hits a nice target on Gala. They still are moving forward, though, and no shield coming to save you today. 369, Cream gets the reset, gets out of there. Now Jackie Love trying to run away, does dodge out of the Deadly Flourish and gets away with the volley as well.
Surprisingly, that was a very favorable trade for Top Esports, considering that the one piece that is the glue to the whole composition, the Ivern, falls first. No shields, no knockups, no roots coming through from the champion. And Top Esports managed to pull that one through. I feel like 369's influence in this particular teamfight was absolutely massive. And let's watch this one more time. Top Esports walk too far forward. TN gets caught in the mix. All the CC going onto this Ivern ends up dying, but 369 so important right here. He takes the support into the row, which is not necessarily a relief for the rest of the Top Esports composition. However, manages to take him down. One of the frontliners and engage tools of LNG was no longer there and does a bunch of damage onto Scout, which then Cream capitalizes upon.
It's a really good buster shot there in the middle of all that by Cream as well. We're going to take a look back into live, though, as Top Esports trying to rebuff LNG, finally clearing out all that vision on that side of the map. But there is no time to rest, as Dragon is coming up. Would be a second Dragon for LNG.
Morello completed also for Weiwei right here. A lot of healing reduction coming through from LNG, of course, with the Ivern, the Redemption coming through as well. You're expecting a Moonstone potentially as his second item as well. So making sure you're already cutting the heal before it even lands fully from the side of Top Esports is going to be huge. Now, of course, LNG have lost a lot of that entry into the river, and it's pretty difficult, especially when Daisy is out, to regain control. Right here, they know that it's not quite possible, but they could catch Top Esports on their way out of that. You see Hung already has a position.
Really good capitalization by Top Esports, just making the play and keeping their pace relevant here. But LNG, they still are in the advantage here, holistically in the game, and they're still looking for all those picks they can find. We also have second items coming up, as you had already mentioned, the Morellos. There's also the Flicker Blade for Cream. Gonna have a little bit more damage there.
No,
Daisy goes in to be a martyr, as Cream and 369, they're looking for Zika. They do have the pullback as well, Zika. He's trying to get the distance there with the Unstoppable, and is just a Cassante, so he's out of there.
So here's the thing, right? You're ganking for Mordekaiser. His ultimate is useless. Why would you ever want to isolate the target when you're ganking for him? So Zika just gets to walk out for free, and Weiwei's using the ultimate for empowered plants.
They just burn it because they knew that so many resources were delved out by Top Esports on bot side, though 369 is back up here with TP. Mako's in the pit. Mako's in there. Weiwei gets put in the Death Realm. He has to go away now. LNG, the Spirit has gone chaotic, and here comes the re-engage from them. They try to get the damage out, but Top Esports, they're outhanding them. We said LNG were the ones that had the team fight potential, but Top Esports ripped them limb from limb.
369 with two incredible team fights has bailed Top Esports out of very sticky situations. Cream did not have teleport to join this fight. It was virtually a 4 versus 5 in favor of LNG. 369 rips Weiwei off the ground. Well, puts him back into the ground later as he sends him to the gray screen. Top Esports with a clean ace. They take the Baron, they take that mid lane tower, they take everything off of one team fight.
It's huge. I mean, just this Death Realm, it makes this pick entirely worth it.
Absolutely. And of course, we've said it over and over again. When you are committing as a Zyra your ultimate to empower your plans so that the Baron goes down faster, you do not have the ability to peel for the team fights. And Top Esports absolutely capitalized on the fact that that was an ultimateless Zyra, and they cannot be peeled backwards. Well, even though a 4 versus 5, it was a great win overall, and I feel like, again, 369 has been so good onto this Mordekaiser, finding the picks and capitalizing from the rest of Top Esports.
The man is back. Back where he belongs, many say. Top Esports, but it was a welcome return for the king, it feels like. And honestly, this first game setting the tone already in this best of 5. You love to see it. Now Top Esports, they have ripped that advantage that LNG had so painstakingly built brick by brick for themselves. And now it goes back to the Top Esports that we know. The Top Esports that will just chokehold you out of the map in every regard.
The funny thing is that last time these two teams met, it was Top Esports with the early advantage and LNG out team fighting them. This time around, it's flipped on its head. And it's very obvious that Zika is going to get defended by oh!
Daisy's bold. Daisy's going for the dive. Daisy's going crazy. Yo,
like,
Daisy, got to get out of there, bro.
She's good. She's good. As Top Esports are using their Baron buff on the top side, they're going to take that tier 2. Cream has already cleared the next wave over in the mid lane as Daisy's taking a very weird pathing right here. Oh, the arrow.
That was so close. If Jacula finds that, one of those two die. Absolutely. The 6 grubs coming back to bite LNG as well, as they are just able to barrel down these turrets. There are no outside of the base turrets left for LNG to defend.
I just want to reiterate that that was a 3,000 gold lead for LNG prior to that Baron play. And now it's a 4,000, 5,000 gold lead for Top Esports. That is an 8,000 gold swing on the map over one team fight, over one Baron. And this is why we're saying Top Esports is so dangerous, because they're going to take one fight, one champion, one kill, one ace, and they'll take your entire map off of you. One pick from 369 ended in an ace, ended in a Baron, ended in a mid lane tier 1, ended in every single avatar from LNG going down. And you bet right now, Top Esports are going to be looking to choke LNG off of Vision and have them face check into things like an Alistar and Ivor. It's going to be so tough to regain that control.
And that's what I've loved to watch from Top Esports this split. It's been a season of growth, and we were talking about the renaissance of many of the members on this team, but they just know where to press and when to press, right? There's just the one moment they need. They press that in, the armor is unfolded, and you just get full access to the open body here, and it feels like they've been popping shots ever since. As now LNG will be taken away from the Dragon. This will be Soul Point acquired for Top Esports.
Perfect trade right there. You don't have to kill Hung, you don't have to overextend, you don't have to overcommit. Only Daisy does, and that's more than enough for Top Esports. They know they're 4 versus 5. They forced Hung to go back to base, reset, get his hit points back. And this is going to be, as you mentioned, Soul Point for Top Esports, yet another neutral objective going towards their side. And Jackie Love has been unleashed in the past 2 team fights. We talked about how hard LNG really tried to shut him down in that laning phase, and every time you shut down someone from Top Esports, someone else rises up to the occasion. 369 was rising up to the occasion until Jackie Love was in terms to get in and carry when his summoners were up, and they absolutely are. 2, 1, and 4 on that AD carry, 3 items in onto Ashe. He's more than equipped to carry the team fights to come for Top Esports. And right now, it's not going to be the easiest to try and walk into LNG's base, so I'm expecting that Top Esports will be patient enough for another minute and 10 seconds until the next Baron comes up for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's really hard to take any team fight for LNG right now, especially with Jackie Love on the 3-item, full item completion there as well. It really was, though, Top Esports kind of setting themselves up preemptively. They didn't look like the Top Esports we maybe knew from the Ascend group in terms of not finding those early advantages, not really contesting every single objective, but the fact they got the grubs in a composition that it is so incredibly strong. If you get all 6, they've map positioned very well, and then they found that one entrance to make the difference. It has been a big story of Top Esports controlling this game from that little lead they gotten into exploding it into what they have now. Okay,
and hear me out. Man, the Jhin...
Hey. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
I know.
Do not.
No, absolutely no. I'm not here to trash talk the pick. It's more like the later this game goes, you're gonna have a Mordekaiser with so many hit points on him. You've got extra shields coming in from the Ivern. You've got Mako onto the Alistar. Your life becomes a living hell as Jin because you just cannot walk up and kill anyone.
I think Hung's already there. He's already in the living hell.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's getting out of that one. Maybe somebody else joins. It's going to be the flash out from way away to stop his ticket to that same hell that Hung is in. Now the Baron going down top.
We mentioned how difficult it will be for anyone from LNG to try and face check, and unfortunately, the only two that can is Hung and Zika. Zika, of course, has to pressure that bot lane wave since he has TP, needs to put some pressure on the map, knowing that that Baron is up. So it was up to Hung to try and find some resemblance of vision control in this river. Paid with his life. The Baron ended up going away. Yeah.
369 with the devious TP to rejoin topside fight, but now it's another Baron. For Top Esports, it's a continuation of their lead, and they will still have a little bit of time on the map to find those picks in between. That's why this composition becomes so strong, and where we've fallen off talking about LNG's composition, because in front of team fights, when they're ahead, LNG, oh goodness, you do not want to go into that fight. That's going to be really difficult. From behind, though, against this composition for Top Esports, they can single you out, they can take you down. They have multiple avenues for that, not only 369, but also Cream's single target damage. And that's not somebody you're going to find easy in the side lane. And that's what I love, is that there are so many options for Top Esports.
369 has to commit his flash right there. 4 members of LNG on his tracks trying to take him down.
What did it cost?
However, you give them a little bit of free time with Baroned up wave and 6 void grubs. They will take half, or more than half actually, off your tower. Almost all of it, because there is a cannon right there that keeps hitting the tower. Zika finds a knockup.
Cream is the one you really got to worry about. He takes these turrets so quickly, and now the second wave has crashed. They're going to take that bottom side inhib turret. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes on to Wei. Now going to be able to be followed. Oh my God, Jackie Love! He just shreds through Hung, and Top Esports, they have just strangleholded LNG to finish out this game, and they're looking like Darth Vader. I don't know at this point if they got the force of those midichlorians, but it's Top Esports that have the mojo as they are taking down the final Nexus turrets in this game number 1. It's LNG's arena. It's LNG's entrance into the playoffs, but Top Esports are not going to give them an easy welcome as they take them down time and time again. It's an over 10,000 lead to SmackDown game number 1.
Top Esports with an incredible comeback through a Baron ace. They had absolutely no business winning this. It was a 4 versus 5. It was Cream on a side lane with no teleport. It was Jackie Love that hadn't necessarily had the time to scale into the monster Ash we want to see. And yet they take the ace off of 369's back. His team fighting on this Mordekaiser looked so scary, man. And an 8,000 gold swing in one Baron play.
That Mordekaiser ulti,
that's all it took.
Might be one of the best ones, like the most worth, at least, of all time. Like, it literally handed them back the game on a silver platter. What a game number 1 from Top Esports. See if LNG can wake up into the series and give us an even one. We'll be back after a short break.
doubt, we must remain. Relive the pain and turn it on now. 'Cause we must live up to our name. To those who intend on our red, we refuse to let you have the final say. Try once, try twice, rebuild this world. We'll take our bombs, we'll make amends here. Where they bring down, we must remain. Relive the pain and turn it on now. 'Cause we must live up to our name. Strike once, we can't let go. Strike twice, rebuild this world. We'll take our bombs, we'll make amends here. Where they bring down, we must remain. Relive the pain and turn it on now. 'Cause we must live up to our name. Strike once, we can't let go. Strike twice, rebuild this world. Strike twice, rebuild this world. Strike once, we can't let go. Strike twice, rebuild this world. certain fate. We'll make our final stand. Lost in the dark, we've come so far. Another step to rid the pain. Go and be counted till your last day. 'Cause only nightmares break their flames.
Welcome back, everyone, to LPL Summer Playoffs 2024. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Trouble, and what a Game 1 opener. It had everything. The glitz, the glam, the drama, and a top esports win in the end.
I'm just gonna quote Scara here. For LNG, it was we were winning until we were losing. Everything went so great for them in the early game. Pinning Jakilov down the bot lane, taking his flash on repeat every single time. Not allowing TN to make his early plays. Scout had a pretty good hold on Cream onto this mid lane. And one Baron play is all it takes. A 4 versus 5 in favor of LNG is all it takes for top esports to ace them and swing the gold 8,000.
Not only 8,000, but in the end, it ended up being 14,000 overall
That's
as
crazy.
a whole, which is just absolutely nutty. And again, LNG had the early machinations. They were trying to transition into their strengths, were going into the side lane, taking those advantages, but it just was top esports that put a stop to that. Then never let them breathe for a moment. This was the play that made the difference.
Absolutely. 369. That was a 4v5. Again, Cream was transitioning from the bot lane play, did not have his teleport, had to run literally across the entire map. But 369 not only taking the jungler hosted, but also taking them down and then being a huge frontline for top esports. They managed to basically capitalize on the fact that they were 4 versus 5 until Cream arrived. I feel like 369 had back-to-back two incredible team fights to sort of neutralize the state that top esports' game was at, because let's be honest, that early game did not necessarily look very promising for them, but they've got scaling, they've got Ivan, and one team fight led to another.
It definitely did, and now we see how quickly they were able to turn the game into an end there as well and try to get those turrets down. They also just continuously took those fights over and over again. 369's Death Realms made this pick fully worth it, and it was very difficult for them to find a way.
Yeah, I feel like Mordekaiser was a bit of a problem for everyone right there. Mako, though, with the fantastic
let's go.
target selection. I feel like he's had some incredible engage as well. It got a little bit overshadowed by the flash plays of our Mordekaiser, but every single setup started with Mako. Even that Baron play started with Mako finding way onto the Zara, shoving him towards that Mordekaiser, and then letting your top player pretty much cook onto an insane engage. And then he found another flash pulverize onto two squishy members in the backline of LNG.
We gotta give it to him.
Yep. There you go. Shoves him towards the Mordekaiser, knows where the teleport's coming through. Knocks him up as well, allows Mordekaiser to just do whatever he wants. And then peels back for the rest of his team. I feel like he's been finding constantly such incredible engage. And again, what's the flash pulverize right here that's going to come onto Jhin and Lucian both at the same time? Oh, sorry, not... Oh, it is Jhin and Lucian! Scout literally dashed into it. Right.
In the end, top esports taking full control there, and that's where we can talk about maybe some of the answers. This wasn't one of the more fluid compositions that top esports tend to go for. TN on his Ivern, we saw it was 4-0 and 5-0 on the pick, but it's also something that changes the play style of top esports a lot. But the fact that LNG did not have an answer for it in this game number 1 frightens me for what that draft is going to look like in game number 2.
You know what I've been asking? What is the counter to Ivern? How do you hold Ivern? How do you take him down? My answer so far has been ban it. Take it away or ban it. Don't allow him to be on the Rift. I feel like he's in a tier of his own. He's in an S++ tier of his own. And it feels like no matter if you get into his jungle, take his camps, slowly but surely, unless Ivern has 3 losing lanes, this champion will be useful in the mid to late game. He will get to his 2 items, he'll have the Moonstone, he'll have the Redemption, he provides an infinite amount of shields, so unless you have a shield breaker, maybe like a Serpent's Fang or something like a Rel, it becomes so difficult to play against a champion. He's so obnoxious to deal with.
We're getting to game number 2 of our best of 5 here. And it's LNG on the blue side, banning away that Ivern, banning away the Lilia as well from Tien. Now 2 of his most ruthless picks, it feels like. And the Misfortune also continuing to be banned away. Right now for top esports on the red side, they're going to ban away the Rumble, Renekton, top lane matchups galore right now. Also get the Ziggs ban away here, joining that same first game of the series ban table.
I might have slightly been muted.
You might
while
have.
saying that. I'm very surprised that with Ashe open, with Leona open, we have a Lucian again, because I don't necessarily feel Scout capitalized on that early game, especially since he lost his flash in that mid lane. I feel like he kind of became a ghost on the Rift, and we're not very used to seeing Scout as a ghost on the Rift, at least in the recent form that LNG has had. Now, Jackie Love, with his infamous Ezreal down the bot lane, and Mako more than happy to take, in my opinion, one of the best supports in the current patch.
You just have so much decision-making priority on this pick, and you give it to Mako, it's going to be tough to deal with. I know we talked so much about the renaissance of top esports. They're in their golden years, but it really has been a final addition of Mako to this team that seemingly has unlocked so much potential in all the others. I mean, Jackie Love and Mako have been the best bot lane in LPL this split. We'll see if they can continue that trend, though, as they go on into the playoffs, going to their second best of 5 in a row now, as Cassante and Zyra locked in for LNG again.
The Ezreal plus Leona kind of hints right here that top esports wants to play towards the top side of the map, mid towards the top side. Now Jackie Love, of course, onto the Ezreal, and a much more self-sufficient AD carry that can live on his own down the bot lane. He's not necessarily threatened too much by losing that flash early on, so you are going to be expecting to see Mako all across the map. 369, he says, you're going to go for that Cassante again? Remember what happened last time? 5,000 was the gold lead for 369 in that particular matchup towards the end. And I'm gonna hold my tongue right here, because there's a bunch of AD carries that Cream can pull in that mid lane versus Scout. There's the Zeri, there's also his Tristana, which he pulled off so much damage on in game number 1.
That's the biggest thing, is there's just a lot of options right now as a whole. The Braum ban is really nice. I hate that matchup with Hildiona. But also that 369 gets to go back to the Mordekaiser, something that works so well into this composition that LNG had in game number 1, because right now we are just carbon copy for LNG's side of things. See if top esports change things up in their answers, as the Nidalee is banned by LNG.
LNG are banning all the annoying champions.
Tien earning that MVP, I'm just saying.
Absolutely. You know they say, hey, if you're an Ocanian, don't touch the Nidalee. But we've had some pretty darn good Nidalee players in the LPL and performance overall, so definitely deserved the Nidalee ban right there. And again, for top esports, you kind of need to shut down that early game, which LNG managed to do very well in game number 1. It was more the transition to the mid to late, but we didn't necessarily see that LNG side laning that we have been seeing throughout this entire split that has made them so successful, that has choked so many teams out of tempo so many times. So for LNG, it's just very important. If you shut down Tien and he can't make the plays early on, they do have that advantage of trying to create their plays through that mid game.
The fact that he gets the Maokai ban too, this man is taking so much pressure on this series.
You know what? I'm kind of worried here. This man got a quadra kill on Zinzao last time these two teams met. A quadra kill
on Rel at some point, you know?
It wasn't a quadra kill with his team, it was a quadra kill with him on his own. Onto the Zinzao. And you do have an... Oh my... Is this the Yasuo Diana? No way.
See, they're going to have counter pick. Look at this
He's
smile.
laughing.
Look at that smile. That was devious, Tien. That was devious, my friend. As we do have the Diana already locked and loaded for top esports, LNG are going to need an answer, and they're going to need something quick. The Xayah giving safety over to Gala. Also a premier pick for him. Hung going to go ahead and go with the Lovers duo.
Now, don't get fooled right here. It is going to be a Yasuo lock-in for Cream. There's no way you pick a Diana without her best half in terms of team fighting, in terms of wombo combos, in terms of ultimates. Now, I'm looking at LNG, and the first thing that comes to mind, they're all so squishy. But Georgia, there's a Cassante, yeah, and there's also a Mordekaiser on the side of top esports. That's gonna be taking that Cassante away. Oh my, wait, I've been deceived.
It is
Stop
gonna be
laughing, Roselle. I've been deceived.
I loved it though. You know, it was a little bit of a moment. I really wanted to see it. I really wanted to see the combo there. Apparently, Tian just really wants the Diana combo to be himself. And we'll see the sustained damage, the poke-centered composition, at least from a damage profile for top esports here with the Corki Ezreal.
Tian doesn't need no Yasuo. He's his own wombo combo. He's his own backline diver. See, I like this a little bit less. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Gala and Hung have picked a very self-secure bot lane. That Xayah, so much agency in terms of getting dived in the backline. One of the best anti-assassin AD carries overall over any other champion. And right now you only have one threat, which is that Diana diving into the backline. There's no Yasuo, there's no follow-up right there. This makes me just a little bit wary that if this Diana falls behind in that early game, who's gonna facilitate for her when later on she has to dive into that backline and potentially die?
But if they get ahead, does Tian ever need to look back? No. And that is something Tian's done very well so far in this split. Now a little bit more onus given to him. He's not on the Ivern this time around. He's going to need resources himself. He's a lot of the setup potential for top esports. But this composition, a little bit retooled for LNG. Shades of that game number one. Realizing the early game went well for them. They just fumbled the bag a bit. But they are now ramping up themselves. This is the first time we've seen LNG in the playoff. They're in their home arena. They need that energy now to even up the series as we get into game 2 between LNG and top esports. Go. Everybody's packed in, ready to go. See the early game moves from both these teams, especially Vision itself, but all eyes on Tian this game. We put so much pressure around the priority gained in mid lane. I feel like that's going to be even more important now as Tian's going to need that support in a lot of these plays on the Diana.
This gets a little bit confusing. We usually see the Diana because on her own, she's not necessarily a strong champion. I'd love to see also and keep track of the clear speed versus the Xayah, one of the fastest clearing champions in the current meta. However, what makes Diana really strong is a dive buddy. She's kind of like the AP Vi, if you will, of the jungle. And currently, I don't necessarily see any dive buddies with her. Usually you'll see the Yasuo because the combo is instant. The second you press R, this is where Yasuo gets to dive in. It's very hard to dodge, and there's a bunch of squishy members on the side of LNG that this combo would have worked into. However, Cream wanted to go with the Corki, have a little bit more say in terms of a late game team fighting from a ranged champion. And of course, I want to see how Tian is going to be able to approach this game with a Diana having no Yasuo buddy.
Both junglers going to be pathing down towards bot side on the same side clears. Sure, all that pressure going to be given down that way unless we get a little bit feisty in the mid lane itself. But that's where we can look back to game number 1. See 369's impact on this Mordekaiser came around once the game was fully underway and LNG had a massive advantage. We said it's not easy to shake off a 14,000 cold swing across a game there for LNG, but they're going to need to do it now if they want to try to keep their heads in this series.
Now looking over at LNG. And if you look at the clear that we said to keep an eye on, Xayah is already done with red buff. Diana is still doing third camp of the new quadrant of her jungle as Xayah is going to use the plant beautifully juggled right there by Wei. Using literally the last auto attack of the plant going down to take the last HP off of that red buff, and already done. Xayah is already done. Diana is still doing that blue buff. If you get a little bit of control towards the bottom of the map, you can have Wei either wrap around that bot lane or even enter to try and contest for the Grump. It's gonna be neither LNG are taking a little bit more slower. They're just putting a bit of pressure down the bottom of the map towards Jack 11 Mega, which worked wonders for them in that game number 1.
LNG taking full force in bot side means that Tian is just going to wrap back around and try to go for the top side scuttle here. Will be the early trade of both sides for both junglers. But I do wonder now if this Diana is looking for the early proactivity, especially once you hit that level 6.
You do have a little bit more of CC for that. However, due to the changes of Diana, not very recent, but her ultimate used to be the dash, is no longer the case. So even at level 3, you do have a dash available for yourself. So you could be looking potentially for some sort of engages. You see, Tien, he's marking his wraiths right now. He's going back into his jungle, and so far from what I've seen from Tien, he's trying to avoid that Zyra at any cost. The second he finished with his bot quadrant of the jungle, he headed straight towards that top side to take the Skull Crab, knowing that Weiwei, of course, is on the bot side of the map. However, Zika
gets a
and
nice
Weiwei on the
preemptive
top
play.
side.
Doesn't hit the Q3 there. Weiwei is going to get the flash out of 369 in the end, though, so that should be revisited as well. And I love that we just got a repathing up towards top, and now Tien, he might have the engage potential here as he uses that Lunar Rush to go forward. Didn't get the reset in the end, but just a little bit of pressure onto LNG.
Yeah, showing some presence up here. You see that the wave is not necessarily at the best state possible for 369. It's actually pushing towards Zika. So you would need a little bit of jungle attention. However, 369, I feel like here is going to reset and try to reassess the wave situation. For Zika, it's at the perfect point. 369 is going to have to overextend, doesn't have the flash. So it was a little bit impossible for him to stay for that lane.
Jackie can't really get,
low.
I mean, he can't really get much damage here. As, yeah, that Blade Caller is going to be pretty big damage back on a Mako. Mako just going for the angle there, utilizing the wall to keep them separated.
Interesting. Gala and Hung have been getting the better trades
He
down the
wants
bot
it.
lane. Mako's just not giving up. It's just a constant back and forth. Onto that bot side. I get a reminder in the last best of series between LNG and Top Esports. Gala and Hung somehow were still level 1 when Jackie Love and Mako were level 4. So that was an absolute banger of a game, which LNG actually ended up winning. Spoilers, not, because it happened quite in the past. But it was a great turnaround, again, from the LNG bot lane and the LNG team overall. And it came from Scout and Zika being able to pressure through side lanes and through team fighting. And I want to put my point again onto Scout, because she didn't necessarily have the best of game ones. We didn't see that side lane prowess that we have been praising LNG for.
Now, a curious question is about to come up on the Rift. We have level 6s in top, that's all fine and dandy, but both objectives are going to be on the Rift, and Top Esports, known to be willing to contest over everything on the map, are now looking to contest this mid lane as to be flashed out of that Zenith Blade by Scout, and LNG keeping a little bit of presence on this top side of the map, want to maybe go for these grubs earlier than the Dragon.
Now here was my question. Is Tien gonna flash forward or Mako? Because you want Scout's flash gone no matter what. You can wrap around, and Tien is the one having flash available for him. Still no level 6, but by the time he does hit it, Scout will still be missing that very crucial summoner spell. So you should expect that Tien will definitely be looking towards Scout in that mid lane. I want to mention also that the reason why Scout wasn't as influential in that mid game for LNG was due to his flash. He's playing Lucian, he wants to play a little bit more aggressive. It was versus the Tristana matchup in game number 1, but he couldn't overextend due to his flash being down by Top Esports. So one more time right here, Scout is missing his summoner spell and he cannot overextend to take aggressive trades onto Creep.
Tian going to be spotted out by the Vision here. As Weiwei was headed back into his jungle, he is going to path back up towards top to respond to this if Tian wants to stick around. Also going to move forward because they had that Vision. As now Top Esports will know. They know. But there wasn't actually a readaptation of Top Esports' presence around bot side there, which I thought maybe might happen with the Dragon setup there. But Top Esports playing this early game very slowly, very respectfully.
However, it is LNG coming up ahead in all of those matchups. You see Gala and Hung have been having the better of those trades over towards that bot side of the map. They've constantly been having pressure. Nice double knock-up right there from Hung. That's it. That's literally what they've been doing the whole time. They've been trading CC back and forth, trading a few blows back and forth, but nothing has necessarily come off of it. No summoner spells or anything. Mako's flash was blown to blow Scout's flash over in the mid lane. So overall, a very steady map. And this gets me very worried for Diana. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like Diana is one of those jumpers that wants to snowball quite in the early and spike in that mid game, create the plays early on until your Ezreal and your Corki are actually farmed up and to the point where they have 2 to 3 items and they can carry for you. However, Tien has not necessarily found his opening. We didn't mention Scout, has no flash. Tien is looking straight through mid.
Yeah, hey, he'll find his opening some way, somehow. It's about the ease of execution, though, I think is the real conversation, because we've seen Zyra run rampant in these playoffs because of the ease of execution she provides. You literally just farm, and then you can space neutral objectives like the best of them. And I think that's something to kind of keep an eye out if Tien can make up the difference in that easily executable champion. Wei going to use those plants and try to take this early dragon as well. This could be full neutral objective control by LNG early into the game.
Here's why Zyra is like so strong right now. Usually when you have types of champions like Zyra, you're like, oh, it's just a farming champion, you know, you might want to invade because you take camps really fast. It was the case with Graves, right? He was clearing so fast that he would always sneak in and take your raids. Zyra can do the exact same thing. However, because of how fast she clears, she also has a lot of downtime. And in that downtime, she can take a bunch of objectives. She can actually create pressure towards the map. She has a pretty good gank setup as well with her E if it hits. Depending on which side of the map you're playing through, and especially right here playing from blue side, you can very easily wrap around that bot lane tri-brush. If that bot lane is extended, you can very easily take summoners or lives. So because of Zyra being such a fast clearer, her downtime is incredibly valuable to her, because usually gankers don't get time to farm and vice versa, but she does both.
Get you somebody that can do both, I guess, is the real...
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, don't we all? Now, as getting back onto the Rift itself, I think looking at the entrances here, I talked about the ease of execution for LNG. They need to find some of those spacing team fights as well. They have a lot of damage that can be peppered down, but I feel like once they blow that package, it's not going to be as efficient. And top esports will have a lot more sustained damage, at least in a lot of these fights.
As LNG have taken full control towards the top side of Tien's jungle, and I feel like this is where top esports will be looking to pull the trigger in terms of a fight. 369 over in the bot side doesn't have his teleport up and available, but I feel like for top esports, the teamfights are going to get a little bit difficult in terms of Tien having to choose his target. Right here, his only target is Scout, but his flash is almost up and available for him. And once everyone has flash from the side of LNG, it's pretty much choosing your target between Scout and Wei, right? The other ones are too slippery, they've got too many evasive abilities, they're very hard to catch. So I really want to see, because we haven't seen any action from that Diana, so it's not necessarily a heads, it's pretty even with the Zyra. So I want to see the value that this champion brings without her Yasuo buddy diving the back lane with her.
You do have first items coming up as well. Leandri's there for Wei, but the Rocket Belt's complete for Tien and 369, as they're going to deny the Gravageddon that they were able to get last time around. Although LNG, they are around the corner. They have a TP ward if they want to go for it, and they're looking for a tussle.
The sandwich might come through.
Oh, I think
Here's
Hung
the
wants
TPs.
it. Okay, Mako just goes right in as the last grub tussled over. It'll end up going the way of top esports, but you got to take the fight. Stranglethorn going to separate. That's what we talked about earlier, but 369 has already sent Hung to the death realm and is looking to obliterate him, as maybe just looking at the fight now. Top esports on the back end need to find it, as they do end up getting a double kill over to Gala.
LNG coming up with a huge victory right here. They'll lose 3 Void Grubs, but they'll get 3 kills, or their main carry. 3-0 for Gala, 1.6k gold in the lead. He'll get to shove in that mid lane wave as well, more gold for his pocket. And that was a disastrous fight for top esports. They were all over the place. 369 TP's in, Mako goes a little bit too far forward, everyone's stuck in the pit, the Crucial Barrage misses, and by all this time, Mako's trying to create space for his team, but top esports is stuck in the pit, being zoned out by Scout. They cannot actually contribute onto Mako going too far forward. And my question was, what does Diana provide in all those fights? Tien literally ulted in and flashed out instantly after the ultimate combo. So I'm a bit skeptical on the Diana without the Yasuo combo right there. I'm a little bit skeptical as in why Diana over any other kind of jungler such as Sejuani, wink wink. But we'll see if Tien can actually bring it back and make it work, because now it gets very dangerous. A very self-sufficient AD carry, a very anti-assassin AD carry, 3-0.
Well, Vaughn, they're feeling antsy. There wasn't enough presence in mid lane for them, and they need to fight it out. All right, they need to get those feelings out. As Scout is gonna not like that one too much.
Talk it out, buddy. Talk it out,
guys. Come on, we don't need to have all the presence in mid lane. It's gonna be okay. It is though now looking at what LNG can do with this advantage because they're going to move to try to answer what top esports are moving forward with because they feel a lot more confident in this one. And this is where LNG, just like in last game, have a little bit of tempo control on the map.
Great hovering right there from Mako. And I feel like that trade from Cream had pushed Scout off, which has forced majority of LNG to group up towards the top side of the map to try and defend that top lane tier 1. Also Mako and TN will be around. They might be looking for something, but again, very evasive champion in the likes of Rakan. Now, I'm getting a little bit worried if I'm a top esports fan. One level up onto Weiwei's Zyra, one level up onto Gala's Xayah as well. Item completed in the mid lane for Scout, and I want to see the LNG that we've seen throughout Group Ascent. I want to see that Lucian get onto a side lane and create a lot of pressure, as well as Zika. Keeping pretty even this time around with 369 only 500 gold in, 14 minutes in, you will take those.
And I want to see the LNG that out-team fought top esports in that Ascent group.
You've already seen it. You've already seen it.
I don't know about that one.
You want to see it again? I see what you're doing there.
I don't know about that one. But we'll see as now it's actually going to be another trade of objectives. Dragon stacking going to be denied by top esports as they send TN to go ahead and take their first dragon. But it is the Rift Herald that has already gone down on the top side of the map for LNG and potentially this turret for Scout.
Now look at Hunk's positioning right there. Pressure's all the way in. Look at the vision on the top side. It's all set up for Scout. You go way towards the top side. He's gonna pop the Rift Herald. They've got really deep wards. They're very safe. And that's exactly what we wanted to see. Side lane pressure now that they have the gold. They're actually gonna rotate Gala towards the top side as well. Extremely strong onto the Xayah. Can very easily keep his own versus Jackie Loves Ezreal and LNG. Are gonna take a bonk onto the top lane tier 1. They'll take the tier 2. They'll take the tier 1 as well. Has a lot of control into top esports' jungle.
And it's a weird feeling right now, Trouble. It feels like top esports are letting LNG smack them around a little bit, letting them take steps forward into their territory and say, is that all you got? But we haven't seen that answer just yet. We know it's coming at some point, but the question is it going to be enough when it does? And you're really looking at that TN engage with Mako to set things up.
Usually, when top esports win their early games, you see a bunch of proactivity from the lanes. Leona plus Ezreal, it's very difficult to kill Xayah plus Rakan, especially after 6. So evasive. It's a self-agency of both of those champions. Hard to pin down. Scout versus Scream onto the Lucian versus Corki. Really hard to see the solo kill coming through from any of those two, as Mordekaiser needs scaling too into the Cassante. So top esports have not necessarily had any proactive lane for TN to play through. However, now they're looking for the next dragon coming up. Well, in 3.5, actually.
Yeah, no, there ain't nothing. There ain't nothing. Scout TP'd bot side to try to get that turret. They do end up breaking that one down. Top esports were looking for a bit of an answer there, but didn't find what they were looking for in the end. So no objectives on the map. Still a pretty healthy gold advantage for LNG. And this is the kind of advantage that now in this mid game they're going to try to move around. They've already seen some of those machinations, right? Scout went top side, took those, almost took a tier 2, went bot side now with the TP, keeping pressure up and the pace of the game heavy.
And this is going to start getting very scary from Mako. He needs to bundle up with TN here to try and get some side lane vision. Whenever you lose your tier 1 towers, you need to move a little bit further into the jungle, and your own jungle as well, of course, to set up for those side lanes. Scout being a side lane menace, as we've mentioned before. Cream is going to try, not necessarily to stop him on a side lane, but to be able to respond, and you need those deep wards, deep vision from the side of top esports, which they have been doing here and there. As you can see, there's one behind the Dragon Pit to try and keep Cream alive, but Cream needs to be extremely careful. Both Trinity Forces completed, of course, on the side of top esports. They have something going for them, which is spiking at the same time between their two carries, the Ezreal and the Corki. They pretty much build the same two first items, so they will be spiking at the same time, which is great news for top esports. I feel like when you do have those two items completed on both your carries, this is where you want to try to pull the trigger. Speaking
of two items, though, Gala already having his two items. A man that's spent so long with RNG, and now is spending the last year or so with LNG. His Scout's going to have to burn his flash. That's a big cooldown utilized, but Gala has a lot of resources on him. He's going to have to make sure that it is felt. We're going to get a 1v1 in top side. The all-out coming through. Zika trying to fight his way through 369's realm, but is it going to go? He tries to get the dash over the wall, but immediately flash, though. The rocket belt in midair. Obliteration for Zika.
369 with the back-to-back Mordekaiser performances. I thought his Gragas was goated, but his Mordekaiser is up there on the list. Top Esports really need this. They need something positive to come through on the map, and that positive thing is 369. Reminder, game number 1 was not going their way either. 369 pulled it back with 2 incredible teamfight flanks back-to-back. So I'm looking at him. If you're a top esports fan and you're looking at them to do well, 369 really needs to go big in the next team fights to come.
Really glad to see not only Collapse going to come through. Cream taking advantage of what Scout's been doing as well, as he uses his TP play to try to get some tempo on that top side. We're going to take a look back at this. 369 has been having himself a tear. He's like, you really wanted to ban the Ivern? You should have banned my Mordekaiser.
And he was more than happy to try and take that 1 versus 1. He instantly pops the realm and starts 1v1 in Zika. And you can see he's like, when is this realm over? Because I want to get out of here. 369 instantly flashes through. Doesn't let him get the blast going either. Great stuff. 2-1. Cosmic Drive also completed for Mordekaiser, as well as double armor right there. Of course, with Gala and Scout being quite fed at this point. More so Gala than Scout. Both of them with 2 items completed. You want to start preparing a few defensive items towards them. I'm looking at 369 and I'm like, which target are you choosing at which time? Because it's arguably, you could go towards Gala and take the strongest member and isolate them from a fight, which means that LNG's majority lead is not going to be in the team fight present. However, I've seen a lot of Mordekaisers when there's a Rakan in game. You usually want to take the Rakan out because that is literally the only engaged tool from the set of LNG.
That's a lot of their go-between is going to be there. I mean, Wei can get some big catch-outs, but I think it's going to be a little bit difficult, especially for him to find the distance without overextending himself. Now, though, we have a Seekers completed for Tien. He's going to be able to get that big engage and go golden to save the time, buy some time as well for top esports. And why do I start feeling like we're getting a second iteration of that game number 1, where some of that momentum is starting to switch over? Though, to stave them off from that, LNG are going to have second items now on Scout as well.
I'm going to raise you my reverse card right here and say that Gala was the all-pro AD carry of the split for a reason. This guy has had incredible performance throughout the entire split. He's now been set for success versus the guy that literally took second place. And arguably a lot of people said he deserved first. 369 is under attack.
He is under attack.
Oh my god, teleports as well.
Yeah, I mean, they are full on committing to this. I mean, top esports, they're pinging over onto the top side of the map at 369. He's going to use the Realm of Death. He's buying so much time here. Hug, trying to dodge away from the obliterate there. He will end up falling. Wei claims the kill. There's not much gain by top esports on the back end of this play, but they're trying to get a tier 2 maybe in top side. Late pings over and a little bit of indecision.
There was no vision for 369 to pressure through that bot lane like this. LNG utilized the fact that there is no information for 369. Group up as 5. They even pull the teleport from Scout to make sure that he is shut down. And that he is. LNG really quick to respawn right there and lose nothing onto the map. Even the tier 1 in the mid lane is still standing as Gala is going to defend. The wave shoved in by Jaculov. Great stuff by them. They managed to shut him down and lose nothing on the map.
And you have to remember that for LNG, we talked so much about this split's track record itself. You also have to think back to the spring playoffs as a whole, right? Like getting knocked out by Weibo in round 2. Luckily, you're starting higher than that here with the Guardian Angel at least. But it's something that LNG need to wake themselves up after having those early weeks off, or at least the early parts of this playoffs off of it. And we're seeing a little bit of that awakening here.
Talking about awakening, might be seeing an awakening of top esports in game number 2 as well, as the gold lead is not necessarily that massive. It's about 1.5 to 2k gold lead, and we saw top esports sway a 4k gold lead for LNG in just about less than a minute with just 1 play, 1 ace. That's all it took. Now, next objective on the map is going to be in 2 minutes. It's going to be the Dragon. Of course, the Baron has been standing there for 3 minutes already. really does lie in the hands of 369 to have good decision making in terms of which champion does he want to pull into the realm. Do you want to pull in the overfed Xayah and ping Gala, the majority of the gold lead from LNG, into this realm, not allowing him to do damage, but you are pretty much getting threatened with losing that 1v1 in your own realm? Or do you take LNG's ability to engage by taking Hung?
Yes. Trying to stop this outer tower from falling. My God. Oh, it was so close, but they cannot stop it. They won't have a defensive structure out on the map besides those tier 2s available to them now. So maybe a little bit more LNG favored as we go back into it. They also have second items across the table. So really nice to see them utilize some of that strength. But we are going to get a little bit of rest moment here between the two, and Top Esports will catch up in their own item regard as we have about 1 minute and 10 seconds for the next dragon. Would be a soul point on an Infernal Soul for LNG, and you know Top Esports don't want to give over that power.
Absolutely not. Very important item breakpoints. The the Rylai's onto Weiwei's Zyra. The slow coming through for the Diana is going to be very annoying, as well as Mako's Leona too. Walking up, getting slowed down. You need to make very snappy decisions in terms of engage. Luckily for them, TN has completed his hourglass, as mentioned, and he has his flash engage available to him, as well as Scream and Jackula, finally the 280 carries that if you hide the portraits, they could be playing the exact same champion at this point. Both on their 2-item power spike. You definitely want to be seeing that power spike come through, and I feel like Top Esports in the next 20 seconds are definitely going to be looking to try and find a way into that river. However, LNG have got full control, and Top Esports need to break that somehow.
I honestly thought TN might just die there, but he doesn't. LNG do end up just taking away the blue buff from them, so they'll have all of the buffs they could possibly ask for going into this dragon fight. TES, though, they are trying to stop in this choke point. Oh, Mako. He's going to get the flash out. That was the grand entrance already used by Hung. Some of the poke damage there. There's the moonfall. And guess who's here? 369 obliterate!
Oh, Gala!
As Gala is caught in the death row, and he is just taken down. Top Esports, they found it yet again, and they're cutting this lead down to size.
All right, I have found the use of the Diana without the Yasuo. You engage onto Gala, Gala ult, but once you're in the realm, your feathers disappear. So 369, right after Gala's ultimate has been activated, pulls him into the realm, doesn't have any feathers to either root him in place or use them as a damage ability. So he ends up going down to the incredibly fed Mordekaiser, 1.6k up right now. And not again.
They're gonna contest
one team fight and a Baron losing the entire game. LNG.
It's literally just a curse at this point. I don't even know. It's literally deja vu right now. One singular fight going the way of Top Esports just broke it completely open. They take the advantage. They now deny the dragon stacking by going to contest every single side of the map as we take a look back at that fight.
Look at TN's position right here. Gala is too far forward. He's seen by TN, instantly engages onto him, and Gala has the ult to get away from the Trusha Burrows coming in, as well as the ultimate by TN. 369 again pulls him into the realm. You can't use your feathers in the realm, buddy. Everything gets left behind.
I am just honestly shocked that this Mordekaiser has made it through and found yet another game where you have to be asking yourself, why is he allowed to play this champion? Because he is making the differences in these crucial moments. Like, one big catch out is all you need, because now you have the advantage, and Top Esports, they're being pushed back on now. Top Esports did a flank TP out from Zika. He does end up getting 369, but he has the Realm of Death yet again. And guess who he chunked out again? He goes for Hung every time, as now he comes out. The quickness has been popped. LNG think this is their moment to shine. The Moonfall going wide. Stranglethorn going to be used underneath it. Now the fight's Zika tries to find Jackie Love, but he's dashing away to safety. Now TN is the first one to fall. Cream getting a bit caught there by the roots, but Top Esports still stand strong. Bodies upbound here, though, as they have already lost TN.
That was a great engage by LNG, and that's the bar buff pretty much in majority gone in terms of tempo and play on the map. Top Esports have not necessarily been able to use it to take any structure onto the map. So great engage by LNG. They saw Cream over to the top side of the map. There was no teleport available for the Top Esports mid laner. so they engage another 4 versus 5 in their favor. They take down a kill, they delay that Baron buff, and it's only 1 minute left. What can Top Esports take on the map? They've got 10 seconds onto their jungler and only 50 seconds left onto their Baron buff. That was the best case scenario here for LNG.
This series is already delivering so much, and we're only in game number 2. We've seen both games LNG come out with a very good strategy for dealing with the track record that we've known of Top Esports of taking control of games and just absolutely dominating them. But they can't transition that into the strength that we've known of LNG in those team fights, and it's just a story of trying to make it work.
And I don't like what Top Esports are doing right here. They're bundling up as 4 members. Of course, they don't have teleports onto their mid lane or the top lane. However, when you do have a Baron buff, they're trying to desperately try to use the last few seconds of it. Again, that was a great, pretty much dissuasion of the entire Baron buff from the side of LNG. And the mid lane tier 1 is going to end up falling, which is going to be the only structure falling from that Baron buff, as it's going to disappear right about now, and LNG can defend their tower.
Yeah, since Flux does so much damage to the turrets
Or try
as well.
to. What is happening in the jungle?
I don't think they can do
Guys,
it. Oh!
Guys, we're taking red buff when mid lane tier 2 is going down?
Hey,
LNG.
you know, it's the long con. It's the long con. All right, it's the long. They are on vision here, though. There's a ward actually in that little bush. They will end up spotting it out for LNG, but that's why Top Esports felt okay stepping up there. The reset's going to come through. All the prizes that Top Esports get for having played the macro better are going to come up big for them. 3 items across the board, pretty much.
Rapid fire cannon also pretty huge for the side of Cream, especially with feathers, plants, everything in the way of him, and any carry from the side of LNG being able to have that long range auto. It's going to be huge for the start of the fight at least. And right now we're looking at both teams who it's going to be soul point when the next dragon spawns for both of them, and definitely you're expecting to see a lot of contests going through. However, soul point is not necessarily the end of the world. So a lot of the times you see if a team doesn't have the setup to move into that dragon, they're more than happy to forfeit that one, especially with Baron spawning up in the minute and 50. You don't want to be losing any extra fights. You don't have to if they don't want to cost you much. And right here, it doesn't cost you that much. It's not necessarily... You get an extra dragon right there, which is sure a lot, but it's definitely not the soul. So LNG right here, they have the summoners, and they've got their ultimates all up and available. I'm looking at Jakilov. He's missing that flash, so he could be LNG's next target.
Yeah, Dragon in about 40 seconds here. See if LNG want to contest for it. Would be a soul point for either side. Tian going to use a blast cone and get out to safety there. Kala takes a huge chunk on the True Shot Barrage. It was Top Esports just looking for a little bit of a preemptive play around this. Next setup, though, will be about Prio and mid.
Highest level champion on the Rift, 369 onto that Mordekaiser, level 17. One of max level as well. Top Esports will have the first dip into the river. A reminder, 50 seconds for the Baron. Top Esports can definitely commit to this dragon and not have to trade any other neutral objective on the map because the Baron wouldn't have spawned. However, right here, they've got a bunch of poke with their trade in another Trusha Barrage. Literally 20 seconds later from the first one, chunking down Gala.
This is where Top Esports' composition excels. This is what we set up from the draft. The poke is so hard to deal with. LNG have to find their in. They have to get an engage to stop this because they don't have that poke. They don't have that range to back them up. They are very short ranged in their composition, as they did give over that soul point to Top Esports. The poke reigns supreme, but there actually are some pings over towards this Baron. Weiwei might be looking to start it on spawn with all the plants wrapped up.
He's got 6 plants already. 9 seconds for the Baron. There's one more that's going to spawn for sure, I believe, for Weiwei right there. So you can instantly queue them. Queue. That's 7 plants in the pit. 7 plants in the pit, but Top Esports, nah, there's no way you're doing this. You cannot do this. LNG, if they start this Baron, Top Esports will just close it in. And again, you said the only engage is Hung. And I feel like 369 will definitely have him in his sights. If Gala's ultimate is not popped instantly, I feel like pulling Hung into Mordekaiser jail is going to be the card right here, because you saw what happened when Top Esports just permanently poke away LNG. They're playing and they're leveraging the range currently.
The range helps.
As 369 down the bot lane has level 18, highest level member on the Rift again, and Weiwei just keeps planting seeds.
And 369 might not have been the biggest focus. I feel like all this split for top esports, there's been a lot of focus on Tian, Cream, and Jackie Love and Mako. Everyone else besides 369, but he has consistently found pressure. He's consistently found a way to be meaningful from the top lane, and this Mordekaiser has not been dealt with, and it's going to be something that LNG have to overcome.
And it's also special to the series, right? LNG went all the way to the finals last year. JDG took them down. That was 369 in the top lane. Hold on, Hung.
Oh, Hung is just getting taken down. It's now 369. He is still in that front lane position.
Oh, Scout.
Tian. Yeah, he's still okay on the side. Did burn the calling as he TP'd into the mid lane. Mako is going to be healing up aplenty, though, as he's mogging it up. And top esports are going to have a little bit of a move here, trying to take advantage of the split nature that LNG are in.
This is perfect for top esports. There is no engage tool from the Rakan. Hung had to commit the ultimate, so 369 here and Tien are definitely looking towards Gala.
Looking for one big moonfall, looking for one big connection by Mako with the solar flare. Those are the go buttons for top esports, and LNG have to be wary of that. Hung will still have some reactive tools there with Grand Entrance. There still is some playthrough for LNG, even though they find themselves at a deficit. But again, they cannot be put into a position where they're just getting poked over and over again with no responses.
Yeah, they're trying to push towards that mid lane wave. However, the poke, as you mentioned, is much more powerful from the side of top esports. They're fighting through that mid lane wave. Bot lane wave has been pushed in favor of LNG as well as Mordekaiser. 369 on the top side is pushing that wave for top esports.
They want it. They
trying
want
to
it.
get some control, LNG.
They get it. The TP's coming in, though. 369 going to try to join the fight. LNG, they did not get the damage off in time. They were not able to make the play. Now Zika, he's over by himself. That's a big blade caller right back. Zika going to separate back to the team now as well. As top esports, they pull the TP back from 369 to stop LNG's advances.
Zika came in clutch in this particular fight, grabs Tien, shoves him over the wall, because that was definitely not a fight LNG wanna be clumping up for. When you've got Tien right there, ready to press his ultimate, ready to dive in, and LNG right now, they do not have very crucial ultimates to walk in. Gala doesn't have ult.
It feels like we're right on the edge of a cliff right now. Top esports just wanted to bait you. They just wanted to get the engage as Tien goes right back out as 369 now finds the Realm of Death onto Gala. He is in trouble, though, as on the other side of the fight, Weiwei's already going down. Scout's gone to Cream, able to find a little bit more. Jackie Love going forward as well. Top esports, they're making mincemeat out of LNG in their home arena. That's a full-on total ace, and Jackie Love, the man himself, steps up when he's needed most.
Deja vu from game number 1. Top esports forfeit their early game to have some fantastic team fight comebacks here in game number 2.
It is an honor. It is a pleasure to watch this team work their way through the LPL, and this team is on a tear. 7 series in a row, but now 2 in a row in this best of 5 as they look to put LNG in the dirt.
I'm lost for words. Coming
It's
into
top
the series,
esports, baby.
seeing LNG constantly having such stable, strong early games, taking control of the map, playing the pace, using their side lanes in that game number 2, and I think at this point, just go back to comfort, bring in the Azirs for Scout, bring in the Yone for Scout, give me something that can solidify the way that we're playing prior, because if top esports are able to bring back 4,000 gold deficit back to back, you need to fill that comfort back in. You need to get that reassurance that you can do this, you can close out games, and for LNG this is very important as they are on the brink of going towards that lower bracket.
Yeah, and LNG, they've gone for a similar comp twice in a row, maybe feeling like they need to change something up for game number 3. We'll see what they have in store for us as we take a short little break. We'll be right back.
hours of pain. Vi sörger, vi sörger. Cold and empty, lifeless remains. Vi sörger, vi sörger. Fields of the fallen, blood-washed in rain. This cannot be all that will be. So you have torn this world
Welcome back, everyone, to LPL Summer Playoffs here, 2024 edition, as we're in the race for the Silver Dragon Cup, and Top Esports are making an enticing run for that one, as they have pulled back early games from the brink twice in a row to take a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 over LNG. I'm Mazel, I'm joined by Trouble. It's going to be a fun one to see if LNG can pull us back themselves into a 4th game.
Just looking at TM's damage right
He
here.
doesn't need to cross 10K. He got 5,000 on the Ivern, got 8,000 here on the Diana. The math works.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all about the execution, and that's all that mattered in game. I want to give. I was thinking, should I sugarcoat it or not? I don't want to sugarcoat it. Top Esports are by far the best team on the Rift today, and they're showing this through coordination and through adaptation most of all. They slammed Diana in the draft on R5. You're expecting a Yasuo. There's no buts and ifs and whens. You're expecting a Yasuo to land on that R5. Therefore, Gala goes for the Xayah to be able to avoid the wombo combo, and then they slam a Corki. Poke plus consistent damage for that late game. Tien has no job right now on the Rift. He has no dive buddy, yet he finds his job on the Rift, and that wasn't to do damage. That was simply to take Gala's ultimate and let 369 cook after this. It's just incredible how these guys can adapt from draft straight into the Rift and find what needs to be done in a composition that is not your cookie cutter. You don't just expect a Diana being picked into the jungle with. It's like this is one exists.
Yeah, I'm all about the love on Tien, but I think there's a reason why all these clips seemingly involve some numbers with the Top Esports behind in front of it. 369 absolutely a tear. This
Some
entire
numbers?
series has 369. You know, they're numbers. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, this Mordekaiser has made the difference 2 games in a row. That mid-game transition, that mid-game lead transition, has literally been orchestrated twice in a row by this man himself, returning to his home in Top Esports and not letting anybody in the front door.
And the saddest thing, if you're an LNG fan, he's your gatekeeper. He was your gatekeeper back in 2023 summer as he took LNG down in the finals with JDG. He might have swapped teams, but he still seems like the gatekeeper for LNG. It's a one-man army this time around from what every remaining member here is from JDG, but it's still him. He's had incredible performance, as you mentioned, onto this Mordekaiser. I feel like moving on to the next draft, it's definitely going to have to be a contested ban right here from the set of LNG. But most importantly, for me, I need to see Scout. I've not been able to see Scout yet. I need the Azir, I need the Yone, I need picks that are a little bit more proactive in those team fights. I feel like LNG needs it as well. Okay, all right then.
Oh my God, somebody really likes Mako here today.
Sure.
Sure,
all
that's
right.
fine. It's fine. Everything's
Listen.
fine. Everything's fine.
Listen, game number 1 deserved, but come on, man.
Give 369 some damn respect. Like, this man's got 2 games in a row on this killer Mordekaiser, and we're probably not going to see it again, because if LNG know any better, they're going to ban that one away. But we take a look at LNG's approach in game number 2, as I really very much want to see how they can try to get themselves out of this one. Lucian twice in a row for Scout hasn't looked good. Gala actually looked decent in that last game as well, and just try to accentuate those advantages.
Yeah, you've got multi-MSI champion in the likes of Gala. Even though he was set up for success, it wasn't an easy game for him to play. He was literally just running away from a Mordekaiser, which you cannot QSS anymore, his ultimate. You have to stand in there for the entire duration of that ultimate. And of course, for Scout, world champion coming in, we need to see his mechanical prowess on champions that can be more proactive in these fights. Again, I feel like LNG needs Scout proactivity, his Azir ults, his Yone shoves. We need to see this happen in this mid lane. We need to see them get ahead in that early game and then bleed it through side lane pressure. There's a reason this guy was choosing Yone over any other AD carry so far in the LPL, and that's because he was so darn good on it and he had so much impact in the game. I want to see this right here as a one game of going to lower brackets.
I have an update. It was 369 that got the MVP in the last game. Okay, so everything is right in the world. Mako, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I blew up a little bit. I'm very sorry. I'll send an apology letter. No, LNG, they'll be on the blue side. They got to find answers, and unfortunately, I'm not seeing the Mordekaiser in this first phase of bans. But they do ban away the Lucian this time around, as well as the Ivor and the Misfortune. It is the Renekton and Rumble yet again for top.
Hey, if you don't play tank over on the top side of the map, you don't need a Mordekaiser to counter that. So I'm expecting Zika to go for something more aggressive. Kennen has been rising up a lot in popularity in terms of team fighting and wombo combos. Ashe has been left open right here. Gonna be picked up for Gala. And I'm wondering, is this going to be an Ezreal, or an Ezreal for the side of Jackie Love?
You think it's going to be an Ezreal?
It might be an Ezreal and a Leona.
I don't know. It might be an Ezreal.
Mako looked really good on the champion, and of course, it frees you up when you play Ezreal down the bot lane to get your support roaming around. Of course, Mako got MVP in that game number 1. That's because his Alistar was so influential. But unlocking that champion from lane, not that champion, Mako, sorry, from lane, is going to be huge for top esports.
Trying to get any influence on the map. We've seen how important it can be, especially in that mid-game kind of transitionary period for top esports. They've gone with a bit of a harder to execute composition so far, at least in that last game for top esports, but it still worked out for them in the end. Lilia has been consistently banned away by LNG in the first phase. It makes it through, and Tien might just be the best Lilia in the LPL.
Yeah, hovered the Katarina right there for a second. Almost locked it in. Almost.
Nah.
But
I appreciate the copium. I appreciate the copium.
He's gonna end up with a much better champion, and a champion that he has made a name onto the Lilia, as you mentioned, permaban, not just in that series. In a lot of series so far in the playoffs, Lilia has been the subject of either permaban or perma-pick. Yes! Yes, I am so excited to see Scout on Yone. I don't care what he's playing it against. I don't care if it's his hardest counter being picked by Cream. We need to see that proactivity coming through the Yone, the side lane pressure, scaling into those late game teamfights. You've got a Braum as well. Great stacking champion in the likes of Yone. You've got the Ashe as well. Incredible stuff so far from LNG. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
And I actually really like to see Gala wielding the Ashe. Not only do you have some utility with the pick with the Enchanted Crystal Arrows, but we saw Jackie Love be able to put some decent damage on top of it all as well. So the double Freljordi and bot lane going to come to strength for Gala and Hung. Meanwhile, it's the Corki yet again for Cream.
And now I wonder, you've got a lot of choices down the bot lane for top esports. If you pick any melee champion, it doesn't necessarily have the best time into the likes of a Braum, of course, we all know that. And Ashe Braum lane is a very annoying lane. Constant slows, Qs flying at you from the Braum, can jump forward. I wonder if we're going to see something more utility-based from the side of Mako. We have seen some Karmas rise up towards the bot lane. And I'm wondering if it could potentially be a case of top esports wanting to play through that bot lane pressure.
I'm actually really looking. I know we haven't talked about him much at all in this series, but Weiwei, he's going to have an important role in this game, in this potentially deciding game for LNG. He's going to have to stop Tien's role, pun intended, if at all possible. It is going to be the Gnar and the Zyra ban in that second phase of top esports, the Leona and the Respect Mordekaiser ban by LNG in that second phase on their side of things. But we'll see what the counter pick is going to be levied over towards. It looks like it's going to be 369 as Mako will grab the Alistar.
MVP in game number 1 onto the champion, engage in so many crucial fights, finding such incredible targets in the backline of LNG with that champion in game number 1. And now Zika can be a little bit more breathing a sigh of relief, if you will, here, knowing that he will lock in the Cassante, but it's not going to be no more the Kaiser on the other side of the ring. However, let me raise you the Gragas card from 369, in which he also got solo kills on, in which he also got an MVP on and had an incredible performance, and he's known for that as well. I'm loving the blue theme that LNG is going for. Triple Freljord, absolutely broken in TFT set 1. I have you know.
That's a throwback. My goodness. Unfortunately, I don't think those buffs are going to be available to them here, maybe as much as they want it to be. See what they end up locking in.
If there's a blizzard coming in and a multi-stun, you know it's working.
They'll be perfectly fine. It is the Cassante in the end, though, for Zika. This has been a comfort pick for him, but it's also something they've relied on to provide stability and won't have that Mordekaiser to kind of make the difference against him. But I do wonder what 369 is willing to take into this. There is a little bit of onus on what 369 has brought, and that is extracting somebody from the team fights very proficiently and going to still have those tools. As the Poppy locked in, he's going to be able to separate a lot of these people away.
Love that. Lots of dashes as well with the Yone, the Sejuani diving forward, the Braum as well. So the Pop is definitely going to come in clutch. Now, I'm looking at the LNG composition. I'm like, that's great. You've got Gala with long-range engage and Promise as well. There's so much engage in general on the side of LNG. However, I'm looking at the damage profiles. I'm like, something's lacking. I'm lacking some AP damage. I'm lacking some more damage in general on the side of LNG. That means that if the Gala and Scout fall behind, it's going to be really, really hard to come back and put out those damage numbers in the team fights. While Top Esports, they've got a pretty traditional front to back with champions they already play a lot. The Ezreal, the Corki, the Lilia.
That's just how the draft goes, though. Things need to be taken away. Other things make it through. The fact that Tian gets the Lilia here in a pivotal game of the series in a setup where we already saw how proficient they are with the poke composition around those objectives, around those tense moments for Top Esports, and they made it look so damn good. It's been 2 games in a row that Top Esports have literally ripped the lead out of LNG's hand, who are holding it so confidently. And it's a far cry from their last reunion in that Ascendant group when LNG were able to take them down. Maybe Top Esports, a little bit of revenge on their mind, and a Game 3 finish to a sweep able to happen here. If they can continue finding those advantages that they've gotten in the past couple games. LNG, they're in their home arena. It's the first time we're seeing this team here in the playoffs, and they need to put up or shut up now as Game 3 between LNG and Top Esports kicks off.
来到英雄联盟。敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
Just gonna say, the Top Esports logo, very foreshadow, very Lubick. I don't know. It's just sitting up there staring at LNG.
It's your turn now, LNG. And I'm loving the stacking right here from Top Esports. Usually when you've got Braum Ashe, it's a very good combination for a late level 1 invade to throw enemy jungler off their path. And this is why you see Top Esports right here bundling up as 4 people in this brush, stopping the Braum from entering. They've already warded their bot side of the river. They're going to watch them now walk in, so they are aware of where Hung and Gala are. They're going to be they will know that they know as well as they clear out this ward.
They know
too.
that they know that we know, that they know that
everyone
we know.
knows at this point that they know. Yeah.
Do they know?
I think that. Oh, I think they do
does
know.
he know? I don't think he knows.
His best the shy impression right here and being a nuisance to the jungler level 1.
That's really annoying. That's really annoying. I do like that Wei just says, I don't want to deal with any of this shenanigans. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go start the wolves. Cool, bro. Thanks. Most passive aggressive way to deal with it.
Bro. Catch your top laner, please.
Come get your mans. All right, come get your mans.
Come get your Yordle. Now, of course, LNG with Wei starting topside and being spotted. Tien onto this Lilia has absolute vision. He can just loom behind this wall and just smite that one away.
You give this kind of advantage, this cerebral intelligence just comes through, and it's gonna be taken by Tien. Oh God, Wei, how far you've fallen here in this series as the flash has to come through, and that will be massive advantages in the tempo for Tien and for Top Esports.
MVP of summer for a reason. That Lilia has been permabanned the entire series. You want to leave it open and not pick it away? Tien will say thank you very much and do this to your jungler. Incredible scouting from 369 on that level 1, forcing Wei off of his blue buff and entirely stolen away from Tien. Tien can keep invading. He can get his level 3, sneak into that bot lane jungle together with Cream, and try to continuously be a nuisance. The only thing that's stopping him is Gala and Hung have pushed that bot lane, so they will be the first ones to move onto that rotation. So we'll see if Tien wants to push that any further. There's a huge wave underneath Top Esports'.
Yeah, Tien himself being able to kind of change gears a little bit in this third game. It's been very reactive, it feels like, from Top Esports, and then knowing when to pounce. But this is the Top Esports that we've known so well. This is the Top Esports that plays with the vision around the jungle,
Look at the
uses
win rates.
TN's very, very intense pathing styles to enable the team itself. And what enabled that play was the priority of mid lane gained by Cream to push Scout under his turret.
And a little glance right there at the win rates as well of everything that Top Esports has picked up so far. There was only one loss out of 12 games on that Ezreal, and that was it. Every single other champion was undefeated from the picks. I think 369 was the first time onto Poppy as well, so that one doesn't count. But everyone else has not lost on their champion so far. So incredible stuff right there from Top Esports. And talk about picking comfort, right? Because going into game number 3, backs against the wall for LNG, we expected the comfort to come out, and he has. Scout onto the Yone, Zika back onto Cassandra, and way onto the facilitating jungler.
Oh my
no,
God.
man, he lost another fight. No.
It's just an MVP dip.
Thumbs up.
It's just an
Stop.
MVP dip. He gets a little bit
stop,
more damage
man.
on the smite. He gets a little bit more speed. It's what happens when you take home trophies. I don't know what to tell you.
But that's what I was worried about. I feel like it was always about, you know, TN getting shot back into his jungle, right? Which was the case in game number 1 and number 2. With Ivern, you don't necessarily invade as much. His Diana was not necessarily what he expected it to be in game number 2, having no body. He just literally had to survive and perma-clear his jungle until he found his openings. But here with the Lily, you just give him so much agency to do whatever he wants. And I feel like, again, going back to 369, that level 1 scout, which was permanently been keeping way in track in TN's head, and has been permanently invading him, he's almost double the CS up.
I think 369 is just living rent-free in LNG's head. I mean, it all stems from what you were talking about back in 2023, but oh my goodness, this guy in all 3 games have had literally
He's the gatekeeper.
game-defining impacts. And this one coming a little early here. We'll see if it does end up being the case. But the thing is about this early advantage for TN is you are not catching up with this Lilia's clear speed, especially with the Faded Ashes already completed. And that control leads to Top Esports being able to contest these neutral objectives, which we know they love to do. We're going to have level 6s coming up, especially for the solo laners. Maybe that influences a little bit of this trade here between them, as there's already a ping coming in from LNG, and Weiwei going to start the Dragon on bot.
Yeah, they call bot lane onto resets. Jackie Love and Mako are back in base. And you'll see Mako unleashed towards the top side of the map. They have Void Grubs available as well. So LNG are trying to take that first dragon. Very important, right? They've got massive scaling on their side. They want this Yone to reach those 3 items. We have seen what Scout can do on his Yone with 3 items. So definitely they want to be stalling the game as much as possible. They've got 3 mega tanks and 2 AD carries on their team. So making sure you're stacking dragons early on wins you some time later on. In case Top Esports want to force a few of these fights, of course, having that Fed Lilia.
Not much of an advantage either way just yet, and waiting for those big tussles around the next spawn of objectives, obviously, as the first set of grubs will go the way of Top Esports. It was traded for that dragon on the other side. Top Esports, they're looking for a play onto Zika.
Let's see. Ooh, Sid
Might as
has
well.
to be flashed out. And tire plating going over to 369. Zika loses his flash. He loses TP as well, which makes him kind of a target. Next time you see Mako or Cream roaming around, Zika has to play a little bit more cautiously towards the top side of the map. However, as you see Lilia on the top tower, you expect your top quadrant to be taken away as well. You see question mark pings landing on Weiwei's blue buff, which I'm assuming that Tim's going to have a lot of great time taken away again.
He's not going to have a job. Weiwei's not going to have anything on the map. Oh, that's so difficult to deal with. He's going to lose his top side as we speak, and unfortunately, just going to be looking for something on the map. He's not even level 6 yet, and Tian almost a full level up over him.
All right, let's watch this one more time. The E. Ooh,
If you don't flash there, you're
just
dead.
about gets flashed out.
Yeah. I feel like they follow through.
Usually, when you're playing Sejuani into a farming jungler, you're expecting to fall behind. However, the value of Sejuani is through her engages, through her early skirmishes. She can show up before that level 6 on a lane and actually dictate the pace of that lane. Take a summoner, take a kill, try to get the laner ahead. However, right now, you definitely don't want to be ganking for Cassante. If you're looking at any lane, it's probably either your bot lane, which has a bunch of setup, or you can play around Scout on this Yone. Perfect. However, that's taking in consideration that you're even with your enemy jungler and you're dropping camps, knowing that you're going to fall behind, but you're putting time into ganking and getting advantages on your lanes. Weiwei has not had the chance to do either. He can't farm because his camps are taken away.
He's level 6.
And since he's already fallen behind, he can't gank either because he's going to fall even further behind. And he's almost 1,000 gold behind already.
He finally hit it.
This is so grim.
He finally hit it. He finally hit level 6. Maybe he finds the influence, as he will have the go buttons for LNG, as well as Gala having that in his hands. And now that we are getting these ultimates, I think LNG have a proper place to try to take fights if they can get these big picks and utilize these enchanted crystal arrows maybe a little bit more soon than we saw Jackie Love utilizing it last time around.
Yeah, so far it has been absolute domination in terms of pressuring the lane, down the bot lane for Gala and Hang. I would love to see a little bit more of a capitalization right there. Of course, since you mentioned that Weiwei is level 6, you could potentially be looking for those ultimates. Now, what's really scary right here is that, again, you want Gala and Scout with 2 items at least on each, 3, preferably for Scout onto this Yone, and you need to start stalling the game. There's a few things that are problematic with that. Top esports can come around from a 4,000 gold deficit. If they're ahead, they're unstoppable. They've got a 93% win rate.
It's crazy what this team can do when they're ahead. They are so oppressive. Oh, Corgi is got a little bit of moves, but still will end up going down. As Scout will claim first blood for LNG, and that's huge. The combination coming alive.
Absolutely. Weiwei needed to find an opening right there, getting Scout ahead, taking the flash off of Cream as well. It means that Cream cannot play aggressive on that lane anymore. And it's so important that the kill goes over to Scout. Oh, hold on, Weiwei.
369 stops the back there. Swirl Seed going to go a bit
There's no
wide.
mana.
Scout was actually looking to combine as well. Mako here, but being pressed on by Scout. Not going to get the Winter's Bite attached to him, so concussive blows will not come through. There is something to think about, though. 20 seconds about till the next spawn of Grubs. This would be Grub again for top esports, and LNG, they don't really have the tools to fight this one or contest.
Not again. Please. Please let him get a Gromp. Anything from his top side, please, Tien. Ruthless. Tien has been ruthless on this Lilia, permanently invading, taking away camps. 40 CS ahead right now. 10 minutes in and Cream is under attack. There are no TPs for him.
He clears the wave so heftily. As that concussive blows does connect. Here comes Scout. He doesn't have the Fate Seal. Oh, Cream going to the Valkyrie. Enchant the Crystal Arrow there too. And Scout picks up another one. This is a massive start for the mid laner of LNG.
They absolutely needed that. I feel like LNG live and die by Scout's sword. No pun intended, because he's playing the Yone right here. But we wanted to see more proactive picks like the Azir, like the Yone. He has been prioritizing this particular champion over any other AD carry throughout the entire season, even though this is an AD carry meta. 2 kills on Scout right now, and he's absolutely set up for success on one of his most successful champions here in the LPL, whilst Jackie Love has taken the entire top lane turret with every single turret plating, skyrocketing himself to a 600 gold lead over Gala.
And I love this for Scout. He's been a little bit non-existent on the Lucian, but you also have to think about this 2024. I mean, this man literally came off a double MVP performance in the entirety of 2023. Then, I mean, LNG fell out real short in the playoffs in spring, obviously setting themselves up better here starting in the double round robin, or double elimination rather. But it's still a story of Scout having a lot of the tools to make this team work.
And I feel like right here, with this top esports composition, they're going to really struggle stopping Scout. This Poppy is going to inevitably stop losing on the side lane. 369 gets cancelled.
Not just yet, though. As he's going to knock away Scout. He'll be able to go right back to his soul. Unbound, and 369 going to be oppressed a little bit, while Zika takes top lane plates for his own.
And that's what made LNG this season. The fact that they can pull out such side lane pressure. 369's backs have been cancelled twice, and this has resulted in a lot of side lane pressure from LNG. Once through that mid lane and once through the top lane right now. 369 is going to TP back to his tower as Mako's looking for Scout.
That's a Blade of the Rune King completed for Scout. He gets so much damage potential there in those early trades. We also saw the Enchanted Crystal Arrow just utilized by Gala to try to get some play on the bot side, but not going to find it there. Dragon is up. Looks like it might just get started up by Weiwei and Co.
Great stuff for LNG right here. They really need those dragons trying to stall the game. But Tien has not been missing with his smites, man, this game. And he's 1v3. He's contesting.
He's going to have moves now.
No way.
Rooftop Barrage. Oh, that was close. Now Tien is able to get away with this flash. Going to pop the Lilting Lullaby right back, though, and it's on to Scout, who's taking a lot of damage. Going to have to burn his own flash back out. some of that range not going to find the mark there. Scout makes it away, and it will be Dragon taken by LNG.
I'm not gonna lie there, I'm very surprised Jakilov did not flash to potentially get those kills right there. There's a 2-0 onto Yone, you take him off the map as well. However, here, it was more than enough for top esports to not lose their summoners and get that pressure down. And you see how annoying TN is on this pick. 1 versus 3. He was holding 3 members of LNG over there. Dashes past Scout's ultimate as well as getting the sleep tag onto him for top esports to just collapse onto him right after that.
Yeah. I mean, top
It's been
esports.
great stuff so far, right? 1,000 gold in the lead, and the fact that you're willing to walk 1v3 and no one can stop you shows how scary he is.
Kind of crazy how top esports just magically took 3 plates down there at the back end, like literally 10 seconds left for the plates to fall. Able to scoop up a little bit more gold there, but they will just have a steady about 1,000 gold lead. We go back into the thick of things now, though, as there is a Rift Herald on the other side of the map.
Yeah, they'll rotate 369 towards the bottom of the map as I see Zika has no teleport for that play. However, because Zika is first to that wave, what he can very easily do, if they want Zika into the fight from the side of LNG, you can shove in that wave and then start dipping into Fog of War. This will create a lot of mind games, as he's doing right now in the river. You're expecting that this Cassandra will slowly but surely start moving towards the fight. So this will inevitably be a 5-man group from LNG.
Looks like no contest going to be there, as we did get those Trinity Forces completed, as well as the boot spike for Cream and Jakilov, but not going to be at the damage profile they want to take these fights yet. And this is some of the strength that LNG have, although Scout is going to try to catch down TN here. He's getting a lot of damage put back on and misses the Fate Sealed. He has to get away. He's going to try to fight back. That Enchanted Crystal Arrow maybe makes the difference. He's fighting it, but he doesn't have it. And what did we say? Scout has to be existent, but right now he's in the death realm at top esports. They found 2 crucial members of LNG and put them on the back foot. All of a sudden, a 3,000 gold lead for the tippy top.
Yeah, top esports forfeit that Rift Herald, seeing Zika in the mid lane wave, but the second he heads back towards the top side of the bot side of the map, they know they've got the advantage with so much gold onto Lilia. Leandri's already completed. Tian doesn't hesitate, pulls the trigger, doesn't even have to use the ultimate because Mako saves the day with a double headbutt pulverize right there. And top esports, again, when they're on a lead, they're one of the deadliest teams over in the LPL. They've taken control of the side lanes as well in LNG. I feel like at this point they're going to have to find more than a Scout magic because he's already 1.2k down.
And we see some of those things we had talked so much about bubbling up to the surface. It's not necessarily a full side lane catch. I mean, the team was right behind him, but the fact that he goes for these early trades, knowing that he is the most important member of this team, and unfortunately not able to connect.
And I feel like his team could have also reacted a little bit faster since Scout is picking up a fight and you see Lilia on your map. You've got Wei right there, you've got Hung. I feel like they were a little bit slow to start moving. They prioritized getting this Rift Herald, which inevitably is going to be something very useful for them. They've not been able to take down a singular tower on a side lane. And when you have Yone, you definitely need to utilize that Rift Herald to take some side lane pressure, get some gold back onto him. Scout was set up for success in this game, and currently he has fallen behind in gold to Cream, who has been the better of the 2 mid laners this entire series so far. Now onto the Corki, looking to scale onto that late game.
Isn't it crazy to say? I mean, I just talked about the accolades Scout was earning in 2023. I mean, it literally was his year, but Cream just bubbling up to the surface his own right. I think, yeah, again, I said at the beginning of the day, a lot of people will only know him from his time at internationals, but you also have to remember that was the first internationals for him, especially when you look back to MSI. So I think this guy in Summer Split himself has taken so much more pressure on. They brought in some supportive coaching for him to find out what exactly can make him tick, and we've seen that flex so well with the play style this meta brings, but also that TN is having one of his best splits.
It also has to do with the champion pool, right? I feel like TN on those AP junglers gets to shine a lot, as well as Cream on those AD carries. And again, the adaptability of this guy, from assassins to mages to now AD carries, he's adapted not only in every single meta, but he's also left his mark on that adaptation, as now he's going to be TPing towards that mid lane. 10 seconds for next Dragon. There's already 2 on the side of LNG. This would be their sole point. And again, Scout on a side lane, creating some pressure, looking for the tier 1 towards the top side. He's going to back now, buy some items. We're looking for the teleport. What can the Yone do?
Mako gets the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That's a big tool by LNG. And Cream, far are the days of the Akali OMG one trick. He has showed that he has earned his place on this top esports roster, and now it's LNG looking for a play. They need to get way out of there. He has no Arctic Assault anymore, and 369 just wants to go for the play there. Trying to use that steadfast presence, stop any dodging back through. Gala able to slow them down a little bit. One big swirl seed connects, and a lilting lullaby could be following it up any moment.
I felt like LNG were in spectator mode for quite too long. As you'll see, Scout will take the top lane tower, reset back to base, straight onto bot lane, the tempo TP that we call, almost on his second item. They waited too long. They knew that they didn't necessarily want to go for that play. However, that Rift Trail did not end up resulting in a mid lane tier 1, which would have been huge for them. Now 369 deep in towards that bot to try and stop Scout from taking another tower down. And again, I said at the beginning, if Scout gets ahead, they're going to really struggle shutting him down in a side lane. Corki without flash is very dangerous to walk up onto a Yone, and inevitably you do outscale the Poppy as well. So we'll see if Scout can continue farming, finding those opportunities, those resources through the side lanes to become that late game monster that we know him to be on Yone.
Needs to really have that damage profile, though, for LNG. You talked about it as well earlier. He's a lot of the center damage for this team. He's going to have a lot of say in how these team fights go. Not getting caught in side lanes, not falling prey to some of those nightmares that LNG have wrought on themselves. Oh. Speaking of nightmares, that Gromp is definitely living in Zika's, as he did get second item completion there for Scout. We have no real contest over anything over here, as Gala is going to pull the Enchanted Crystal Arrow out onto Mako. He pops the Unbreakable Will as well.
Yep, straight up ultimate right there for Gala. Looking for anything. Oh, they're trying to catch Jacula.
Oh, a little close. Cleanse does end up coming through. As 369 doing his best helicopter impression there. Does end up having the shorter cooldown after not utilizing it. But Top Esports and LNG, they're just testing the waters right now, even though Top Esports have the advantage.
Cleanse taken away from Jacula as well. Doesn't have to flash. Again, for the side of Top Esports, or any team, when you have Corki plus Ezreal, you're looking to spike on those two items. And as I'm looking at right now, Jacula completes the Mana Moon as well. So 2 items completed on both of those carries are definitely going to be looking for fights. But the main component, the main ingredient that brings this whole thing together is TN. And he just finished his Rift Maker as well. He's tankier, he's deadlier, and he's definitely going to be looking to consistently be a nuisance in this jungle, putting down some control wards for his side laners, taking away camps. 190 versus 126. He's 2,000 gold up on his own.
I mean, I'd say there's a reason why it was banned away, and unfortunately other things needed to take priority there, and LNG just haven't looked like themselves at all this series. Maybe this game giving them a little bit more recollection to that as Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out. Scout tries to go forward. That's a lot of tools by LNG, though. They do not have any of their go buttons. Glacial Prison's coming up very soon for Weiwei, and that'll be the only thing they have.
Now, a lot of people might think Jacula kind of sold TN right there, but if you do have your cleanse available, you definitely play more aggressive with the Ezreal. You take the arrow and you cleanse it. Oh, no.
Oh, I said he had it back up, but maybe Top Esports baiting them out a little bit there. Zika actually looking for a big angle. He actually finds it here too. Goes for the all-out, taking Cream away from the team, but he's going to flash away. Zika overextends. The Rocket Barrage claims his life, and now Tien is swinging as he comes through onto Hung here too. He actually popped the Lilting Lullaby as Top Esports. They are taken down. LNG Tien is a mile away and still finds the kill on the Scout. And ain't that just the nail in the coffin? A double kill for Tien, and Top Esports turn back to the Baron.
Summer MVP for a reason. Tien on his champion, the Lilia. They take 3 members down from LNG. They're going to pull the TP from Cream as well, take down the Baron. And I feel like I'm having, I want to say deja vu, but I feel like all the games of Top Esports are solidified with a Baron. At least it was for the last 2 games, the team fights into the Barons. And right now is a very well-earned 3 kills for them. Now that Crystal Arrow and this Sejuani engages should be put onto very squishy members. However, Mako did not have his ultimate available for him, so he ends up tanking that one. And LNG have been constantly trying to find opportunities.
It's just
Shoving
so
Top Esports in this ramp is incredible. If you can walk up, Gala cannot walk up there. or he's going to get caught. So unfortunately,
God.
the damage profile that we talked about, I feel like LNG are just lacking so much of it.
TES is just so goated. Like, he's literally
He's actually
winning
deer?
two sides of the fight. Yeah, maybe. He's literally winning two sides of the fight at the same time, which is just crazy to me. The Lilting Lullaby onto Scout makes that difference, and now Top Esports have this massive lead. This is a Top Esports with a singular focus in mind. They are here to dominate, and they have not stopped. They are in a huge tear, and all that ire, all that hate, all that reminiscing from spring is focused on BLG, who lies right ahead of them in the redemption matchup that we just saw in spring in the upper finals.
7 series win streak Top Esports are coming off of, and this will be their 8th if they finally solidify their victory in that game number 3, as they're pushing both mid and bot at the same time. Fully baroned up minions, and Mako is looking for an engage.
Find one last potential nail in the coffin here. They do have the Baron buff up for another minute and a half. This has been now a lead accrued almost of 10,000 gold for Top Esports, and this 369 Poppy pick, I said earlier, made that one big redeeming play. It seems like it's paid out for them pretty well, as they'll take another tier 2 in mid lane, and they have multi-lanes of threat right now for Top Esports against LNG, and LNG don't have any promise anywhere.
And 369 was straight up engaging onto Scout right there. 1 level up on the Poppy. Gets to take a bit more aggressive trades. He's going to turn his attention towards that bot lane. They are looking to chip that tower down. Scout gets stunned on the wall.
See if they can actually get it. As now, okay, True Shot Barrage going to come across. They're
my
going to move
God.
into the siege. There's so much poke damage. We've seen Top Esports do this time and time again. They take a little bit of the lead and they balloon it so heavily. They'll take that bot inhib and walk away. Damage is done. A 4,000 gold Baron power play. Ooh, Scout was actually thinking about it, and his Hawkshot came through. Does signal the backs from Top Esports as they'll get back and spend that pretty penny they just got for themselves.
Yeah, and that's the perfect time to walk into your jungle and establish a little bit more vision control for yourselves. It's been so difficult, even though LNG have 3 tanks in their disposal. Face checking into a 3k gold up Corki and a 3.4k gold up Lilia is never an easy choice to do. Everyone is going to melt from the side of LNG. And again, for Top Esports, you're looking for redemption, right? And this is what a good redemption looks like. Especially if you win this series, you're playing up against BLG. You don't want a half-ass series. You don't want a 3-2, you don't want a 3-1. You want a very decisive 3-0 to go up against BLG. BLG is watching right now, seeing what Top Esports can offer, and this looks scary.
As we know, Top Esports have been. They take early advantage. They fight you for every objective. They contest you. They keep the pace of play up and at your face. And 369 was actually looking for a little bit of a flank, willing to find Gala there. There's a bit of a split push right now by Scout. He does have TP just in case things go a little bit worse for wear here, but another wave is going to come crashing, and another tier 2 is going to bite the dust.
Scout is trying his best to try and get some resources back onto this Yona. Again, 3 items is what you're looking for onto the Yona to try and make a huge difference into those team fights. But I feel like at this point, Top Esports are just looking to brute force their way into the base.
Oh, they could just force it. They get hung out of the fight, and then it just takes Nika. Oh, it's devastation. The Enchanted Crystal Lure comes out from Gala. LNG, they're falling apart. Scout's trying to get back, but he couldn't because the tower is gone, and the TP gets canceled. Another inhib falls. Top Esports, they're surrounding them here, Trouble, and they're looking at the final turret in the base.
LNG choking the teleports right there. Scout is TP'd on a tower that's
Here it
literally
goes.
dying in front of his eyes.
They might actually be able to finish out here. It's a little bit dicey. Scout goes forward. Scout goes 2-4. Scout is gone. 8 wins in a row. 8 bullets locked into the chamber, aimed at their nightmare BLG that devastated them in the spring playoffs. Well, it's time to rise to the top, and it's time for redemption as they will move to a 3-0 sweep over LNG, and they will have a destiny date with BLG.
Top Esports with an absolutely decimating performance. Every single member stepped up to the task. Every single one of them. in every game. They were the better team top to bottom today in terms of macro, in terms of tempo, in terms of team fighting, in terms of outhandsing their opponents. And this is the best you can ask for. You're looking at a BLG. You said it. You're looking at a BLG and you want to go into this series. The finals of 2024 spring did not look that great for Top Esports. But with Top Esports looking like this and seeing how the last game of BLG looked yesterday, whew.
Oh man, it's going to be a series of all time. I'm calling it right now. It is going to be. There will be time to talk about it. We'll talk about this series first and foremost, though. But I love to see Mako giving a little bit of extra love to Scout. It feels like so long ago now. These two literally were just brothers in arms on EDG. But times change, and so do Top Esports. A resounding victory. Now, unfortunately, our round number 4 has ended up in 2-3-0s, which shows a little bit of the level up for some of these teams that we were waiting to see coming into it. But Top Esports, they took that momentum from round 3, and they absolutely shoved it into the throat of LNG.
Now hold up. LNG came in as the second seed right here. We're talking about 2-3-0s, but let's say BLG going up against Weibo Gaming, you sort of expect them to be the favorites overall. However, in this particular series, with LNG being able to study how Top Esports like to play, I felt like, especially the first 2 games, had a very LNG-esque flair in the early game, shutting them down, not allowing TN to play his game. But I feel like suddenly there were so many threats being thrown at them. The Mordekai's, the Ivans. You just don't have enough bans for Top Esports. It's just impossible.
It just felt like an LNG that was a little bit off their game today, and Top Esports will take advantage of that. Obviously, it is not all she wrote for LNG. They will be moving on into that lower bracket, importantly enough, but it is a Top Esports who have leveled up the bar, so to speak. And I couldn't be more excited to see what this team can provide. I mean, Tien showing that he has to be dealt with in some regard. I mean, be it the Ivern, be it the Lilia, be it any impactful champion you give this man, he will find those ways to up in your clear speed, up in your clear path, and especially on the Lilia, make the game unplayable.
I feel like we also need to give props to 369. He almost single-handedly saved
3 games in a row.
Number 1 and game number 2. And then in game number 3, he forced the enemy jungler off of his own blue buff.
That was the difference maker.
Which then resulted in the domino of Tien constantly keeping track of where this Sejuani is. He literally made Weiwei's life a living hell onto the Rift. So again, I feel like if anyone majorly stepped up in this entire series, whether it was pop-off plays or just simply getting track of enemy jungler, I feel like 369 overall has had an incredible performance. And coming off a series with AL where his Crocodile, which is one of his best champions, did not necessarily look that polished, I feel like you're dusting that off, all right?
The Mordekaiser makes up for it.
Forget the Renekton, forget it.
You don't need the Renekton anymore. We don't need to blind pick Renekton LPL. We don't need to blind pick Renekton. I promise you. It's okay. But no, it really was important to highlight that focus for 369. I know I memed about it, but it was a big moment for a lot of the fandom, a lot of the community around Top Esports for when this guy came back. I mean, obviously spending that time away on JDG, but his home has been Top Esports. And the fact that he's coming in here, maybe not having the most, I guess, sporadic performances as a whole, but keeping that consistency has been the biggest changing for Top Esports, to where that enables the rest of the play around the map.
And I feel like there was also a huge change of play, right? A lot of the times we talked about JDG and how 369 was on tank duty. He was on the Orin, he was on the Cassante, he was the engage slash frontline. I feel like right here, going back to Top Esports, he's unlocking himself yet again onto many different champions. We've seen him on Cannons, Renektons, tanks, now the Poppy as well, his Gragas. So it's great to get all the different flavors of 369 into Top Esports. Now someone who's gone under the radar just a little bit, or someone's, I should say, even though that doesn't make sense grammatically, I guess, is Kriven Jakilov. We expect it to be all about Kriven Jakilov in the entire series, and even though they output incredible amounts of damage, both of them, they had their moments, it was definitely not about them this entire series. And it's just great to see how a series can evolve from being all around your mid laner, who's been incredible, being around your superstar AD carry, into getting your jungler ahead, getting your top player evolved. It's great to see how top esports have so many threats in the team.
I also just got to put out, isn't it emblematic that TN, Kareem, and Mako all had 100% KP in this game? And there wasn't a lot of kills. I think it was like 7 total. But the fact that all these guys are constantly influencing the state of the game, I mean, that is top esports' way into a lot of these series. That is why they're on an 8-series win streak. It's been step-ups across the board, but we always know where to center that focus.
And for LNG, of course, they just weren't able to find their mark. I feel like they resorted to comfort a little bit too late, and there was a lot of lack of damage. I'm not gonna lie to you, seeing as the Mordekaiser was banned out, I was expecting... before the Mordekaiser got banned out, I was expecting Zika to maybe go a little bit more aggressive towards the top side of the map, add a little bit more of another layer. We've seen him previously on the Rise, on the Cannon, so he definitely has it in him to play more carry-oriented picks towards the top side of the map. Of course, it makes it a little bit more difficult when you're blue side and 369 can pull out so many picks that can shut you down. However, I feel like LNG right here, they were lacking a lot of damage. They were lacking a lot of confidence from the first 2 games as well, losing them whilst in a gold lead. And it's back to the drawing board. What worked for them? The Azir, the Yone, playing through side lane.
LNG definitely going to need to find something to do against Weibo, but I think that provides a little bit of that moment to think about how top esports handled this one. Because it was a weird feeling, I'm not going to lie, watching top esports lose early games twice in a row, but it felt weird. It didn't feel like it was because they were losing a lot on purpose. There were some moments where you think some of the macro was a little bit off there, but it always felt like top esports were kind of just waiting to see what LNG's game was going to be, and then once they felt confident, which has been a namesake for them so far this split, they were able to pounce. And then in that last game, we just saw them fully unleashed the whole time. So it's very curious to see that development throughout this series.
I feel like there's a difference between teams stalling to like get to their item power spikes, get to the point where they want to start fighting, and teams pretty much bleeding. I didn't necessarily feel, maybe a little bit in game number 1, I felt like top esports were bleeding a little bit in that early game. But other than this, I felt like they just kept the game on a stall until they knew when they wanted to fight. And that was definitely in their hands. It was under their control, and that's the most important thing, that when you are looking to get those power spikes like LNG was looking for in that last game, you don't bleed enough to the point where you just can't come back anymore, where you're looking for that one miraculous fight where you don't even know if you're going to get. And top esports go to the fights that they wanted without necessarily being too much goal behind.
And that's the craziest point. Just that turn-on moment in all those games.
Hey, Marcel.
Felt so difficult. Yes.
Who do you think would be the MVP for that game number 3?
I think he's gotten one of these before, and I think it meant more. I want to say it's the season MVP and TN. Maybe just go ahead and earn that one on his Lilia. No, it was obviously set up by 369. But Tien has to make the decision to go for that
someone
passing.
has to do the work.
Tien has to make the decision to cross the map like that after he gets that level 2 from his red side and take that fight, get the smite off, and execute from there on. I mean, he was literally up 30 to 40 CS the entire game over Wei, and I think that's impressive in its own right. But Tien has just been impressive this entire split.
Absolutely. Again, the MVP for a reason. And BLG are going to have to think twice about giving that sort of Lilia away, especially to Tien when he has that
How many
much
bans can you throw at this man? I don't know.
That's the problem. But that's the problem, right? Because I'm looking into the future. I'm looking into a BLG that is starting Wei. And I'm like, this guy is literally sitting there flickering between Sejuani and Maokai and not knowing which one of the two he's going to play. Well, if I open Gold GG right now, I'm seeing Tien's champion Ocean. And I'm like, yeah, sure, ban 3 of them if you want. He's got another 15 lining up.
And he's showing that he could just absolutely trounce the Sejuanis with his champion pool, too. So I think that's the worst part. It's like you can't even be safe in the fact that you can grab this Sejuani, you can grab this Maokai. And I'd be very interested if the Maokai works against Tien, because he's a guy who likes to take advantage of those more reactive junglers in a lot of cases.
I mean, this guy made Diana work. Solo Diana, like a random Diana.
That's the bar right now. Diana going in dry, still making it work.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, just give him the MVP and get it over with. But my God, that Diana, he made it work. I'm not saying he didn't adapt to the game.
Is this a belated MVP for the Diana performance?
This is the time where I wish I could speak Chinese and just go into an interview with Tien and be like, please tell me, my man, what was the thought process behind picking Diana in the game
Maybe
number
we'll get
2?
some
It's so
interviews
interesting.
translated. We'll see if we get something pop up on Twitter. But yeah, he does earn the MVP on the Lilia, rightfully so. A pick that was banned away from him multiple times in this series, but it was a performance of the playoffs. I feel like that really rose to the level he needed to.
Absolutely. Again, looking forward to facing BLG. You need to
man.
show clean game. Put a sidestep right there. Mind you, this team fight started right here, this skirmish. Tien did not even have ult. And sure, you can say Mako did save their skin, but Mako's been saving their skin the entire season. Mako has been on point in grouping up with Tien. That's why top esports are so darn strong, because that jungle support synergy has been absolutely on point, making sure you support Tien on picks like this so he can get ahead, so he can play aggressive. And top esports have been continuously doing that throughout the split.
They have been. They know how to take an inch and take a mile. And I think it's something that has been building up for them in a lot of cases. I mean, I don't like to put too much pressure on it, but top esports fell extremely short of BLG twice in the spring playoffs, and I think we have some banger series ahead of us, but they got to keep that momentum going and try to keep that 8-win streak alive for themselves. But top esports that looks dominant going into a BLG that also looks dominant. That's going to be a ton of fun. But our next matchup on the docket is going to be a little bit more interesting as well, as we have LNG falling to the lower bracket after losing 3-0 to top esports, and will now face off against Weibo.
Seed number 2, LNG, dominating Group Ascent, only losing to FPX. But this, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's going to be happening tomorrow, if I'm not wrong. It says Wednesday.
It's
not
on the
gonna be tomorrow.
21st.
It's on Wednesday.
On the 21st.
We are on Sunday. I have lost all the days, ladies and gentlemen. It is on Wednesday, BLG versus Top Esports, 12 p.m. Central European Summer Time. If you watched what BLG did in game number 3 yesterday, you are definitely not going to want to miss a match like that between those two. Give me 5 of those games. 5 juicy games like that.
Upper bracket finals this spring did go all the way with BLG, ended up claiming that victory. But what a way to bring us into the last couple rounds of this run for the LPL Silver Dragon Cup. I think that the way we've seen these games go, it's been the 3-0s that maybe we didn't expect at this stage of the game, but Trouble, these playoffs have been a ton of fun. Do you want to say anything before we head off into a couple days of rest?
I feel like it has been incredible and a delight to join for the playoffs. And I feel like the teams, even though they look to be so close together when they came out of that group ascent, you can clearly start seeing the same favorites rising back up to the top. And that's what's very exciting, not only for the cup at the end of the season, but also going into internationals. If you're an LPL fan, you want to see teams rising up and above the rest of the pack. And I feel like, let's come back on Wednesday, guys. BLG versus Top Esports. This is definitely not going to disappoint. Yeah. And even if it does, there might be a rematch again.
There might be a rematch. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go.
Big shout outs to you for hanging in there as well with all the fun today, as well as our production team for making everything look good. And audience, I'm going to have a real conversation with you real quick. If you miss Wednesday, I'm going to come find you. We're going to have a conversation, because that will be a series of all time, no doubt. BLG versus Top Esports the next time you see us on the LPL, and the next time you see the LPL Summer Playoffs. We'll see you there.